The following programs were originally aired live, long before the advent of high fidelity, and they were recorded using a variety of means, from direct recording onto early audio tape and glass records, to simply placing the microphone of a wire recorder in front of the speakers of a radio playing the program. I hope, however, that any variance in audio quality will not take away from your pleasure in listening to these, some of the all-time favorite shows.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Next guest will give you the laughs, just don't ask him to lend you money. It's Jack Benny coming up next.
To Jack Benny's home in Beverly Hills, where we find Rochester very busy addressing Christmas cards.
There, just about 10 more and I'll be through addressing Mr. Benny's Christmas cards. Now, let's see. Mr. and Mrs. Bing Crosby and family, Mr. and Mrs. Eddie Cantor and family. Man, he sure killed a bunch of birds with those two stones. These are pretty nice cards the boss is sending out this year, and he sure knows how to economize on them. Just look at that. Christmas greetings, 1944 to 1950 included. And to whom it may concern. Well, last I got all the cards addressed. Doggone, I wish the boss would buy a stamp. I feel so conspicuous putting on that gray uniform and going from door to door.
Are you through addressing those cards?
Yes, Mr. Benny.
Good, I'll be down in a minute.
Okay. Say, I wonder what the boss is going to get me for a present. I heard him say he was going shopping this afternoon, so I better start dropping a few hints. No, he's immune to hints. I better lay it right on him.
So, you're all through with the cards, eh, Rochester?
Yes, sir. Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Say, you sound happy today. What happened?
Oh, nothing. I've just been thinking how lucky I am to be working for a man like you.
Really?
Yeah. Now, you take my friend Sam. He works for one of the stingiest men in the world. Why, last year for Christmas, all he gave Sam was 3 little handkerchiefs.
Well, Rochester, I don't think that's such a bad
I'll
present.
never forget Christmas Day. Down on Central Avenue, everyone was showing off their new wristwatches and gold cigarette cases and diamond rings, and there was Sam with those 3 little handkerchiefs.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. It really embarrassed poor Sam when people asked him what his boss gave him for Christmas, and he had to pull out those 3 little handkerchiefs.
How can a man be that cheap?
It's possible, boss. It's possible.
Well, Rochester, you don't understand the spirit of Christmas. The important thing is the fact that you're remembered. The gift itself is nothing.
I know. That's the kind of propaganda I'm trying to overcome.
Oh. Say, I better hurry up if I want to get my shopping done. I've got to pick up Miss Livingston first. Rochester, while I'm dressing, turn on the radio, will you?
Okay, boy.
And in case you don't like chops or steaks, then simply take a 12-pound standing rib roast. Cover generously with strips from 2 or 3 pounds of bacon, and then place in oven. While this is roasting, you can make a tasty frosting for your cake by mixing 1 quart of sweet whipping cream. can of crushed pineapple, and a pound of butter. Then call in all your friends and neighbors to help you eat this simple meal.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just listened to another weekly broadcast of Memories of Yesteryear.
Rochester, wipe off my chin and get another station.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, does your complexion suffer from tattletale gray? Do the crow's feet around your eyes have fallen arches? Do you have dandruff? When you comb your hair, do your shoulders remind you of a white Christmas? They do? Then why don't you try a bottle of sympathy soothing syrup? Remember, folks, sympathy spelled backwards is Yatapamis. Y-A-T-A-P-M-Y-S.
Yatapamis, 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 fight your blues away.
Hey, Rochester, that's pretty good stuff. Did you ever use any of that sympathy soothing syrup?
Boss, if it comes in a bottle, I tried it.
I know.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Sympathy Soothing Syrup Quartet will sing Dance with the Dolly, accompanied by Snoochie Getz and the sweetest music this side of the La Brea Tar Pits Orchestra.
Well, Snoochie Getz. He's got a good band, Rochester. See, I'll just have time to listen to this, and I'm going to walk over to Mary's house. That's what I'll do. Hello, little doggy. Da-da-dee-da-dum, da-dee-da-dum, Go away, doggy. That's my own fault. Try to be nice to people. Sweet Georgia Brown. Oh, hello, Don.
Oh, hello, Jack. I was just coming over to your house.
You were?
Yeah, I got that Christmas present you ordered for your sponsor.
Oh, the ashtray? Good. Did you have it engraved like I told you to?
Sure, Jack. Here it is on the side. See?
Oh, yes. To my sponsor, Mr. Hill, I hope this ashtray you will fill. And when you do, just think of me and good old LS-MFT. LS stands for Lucky Strike, and MFT means fine tobacco. So season's greetings and the like to you and yours from little Jacko. Isn't that cute, Don?
Yes. By the way, Jack, I hope you don't mind if it costs more than you expected. I had a little music box installed in it.
A music box?
Yes, our sponsor will love it.
Gee, an ashtray with a music box. That's a swell idea. Let me hear it, Don.
Okay, where do I wind it up?
Okay. That's perfect. Send it right over to him, will you, Don?
All right, Jack. See you later.
Okay. Da-dee-dum-ba-da-dum-dum, sweet Georgia Brown. Dee-da-dum. Here's the drugstore. I think I'll go in and try some of that sympathy soothing syrup. Seems to be good for everything. And that's just what I've got. Anyway, I've got a few minutes before I have to call for Mary. Might as well go in.
What can I do for you, sir?
I'd like to try a bottle of that sympathy soothing syrup.
Sympathy soothing syrup?
Yes.
Sympathy, spelled backwards, is Yatapamis.
I know.
Yatapamis, Yatapamis, Yatapamis. Drive your blues away!
Yes, that's what I want.
Well, you know, this is rather an old-fashioned drugstore.
Old-fashioned?
Yes, I wouldn't want this to get around, but we still have some products in here that are spelled frontward.
Frontward?
Yes. Frontward, spelled backwards, is Strovno.
I don't care about it. Now, look, I want a small bottle of sympathy soothing syrup.
Oh, the 10-cent size. Here you are.
Thank you. Would you mind giving me a glass? I'd like to try some of it right now.
All right, I'll fix the correct dose for you. I just pour 1 tablespoon of this soothing syrup into this glass of water.
Uh-huh.
There. Now listen to it. This. same size, we give you hip boots.
Never mind. Just get me a towel. Now wrap up my bottle.
Okay.
Hello, Jack.
Oh, hello, Frankie. How are you? How's Mrs. Sinatra?
Fine. Say, Jack, don't forget you're going to be on my program tomorrow night.
Oh, sure. I won't forget. See you tomorrow.
Okay, so long. Oh, by the way, Jack, do you know what I found out?
What?
That Sinatra spelled backwards is Artanis.
That's pretty good. So long, Frankie.
So long, Jack. Why did I have to ask him to come on my program? His jokes will probably louse up my singing.
What do you say, Frankie?
Oh, nothing, Jack. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Yeah, sorry I promised to go on this program. It's singing will louse up my jokes there. Oh, gee, look how late it is. I better go over and pick up Mary.
Pardon me, Mr. Benny.
Yes? What is it, honey?
Well, all the girls in my class in high school are collecting autographs and...
Well, how do you like that? I only spoke to Frankie, and I got some of it on me. Oh, well, she'll come out of it all right.
Yes.
Miss Livingston is expecting me, Pauline.
Oh, yes. Come right in, Mr. Benny.
Is Miss Livingston ready yet?
No, Mr. Benny. I was just helping her squeeze into it.
Into her what?
Well, anyway, she'll be putting on her dress next.
Oh, for goodness sake, why are women always late?
Oh, hello, Jack.
Oh, there you are, Mary. How come you're never on time when we have an appointment?
What are you talking about exactly? 3 o'clock now. Look.
Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. You in watch time.
What?
Cuckoo.
I'm sorry, Mary. I thought you were cuckoo. I mean, late.
Anyway, you were supposed to pick me up 10 minutes ago, so you're the one that's late.
Well, I would have been here sooner, but first I gave a girl an autograph, then when I got to the corner here, I gave an autograph to a little boy. You know?
Oh, for heaven's sake, Jack, why don't you stop chasing him?
I didn't chase him. They asked me. In fact, the little boy said that he'd be very happy if he could have the autograph of an actor as famous as I. Naturally, I couldn't refuse such a request.
Well, Natch.
But Mary, when I signed my name, the boy said, "Oh, pardon me, sir, I mistook you for someone else."
Another actor?
Yeah. Mary, who is Vitamin Flintheart?
It's hard to explain, Jack, but Vitamin Flintheart is the same to Snowflake as you are to me.
Well, thank you, I think. Anyway, come on, Mary, we won't get any shopping done.
All right. I've got my car parked in the driveway.
Good.
Oh, say, Jack, Larry Stevens was here a few minutes ago looking for you. He wanted you to hear a new song he was going to do on the program.
Oh, well, get in the car, Mary. What is the name of Larry's song?
It's called A Sleigh Ride in July, and it's from a new picture, Belle of the Yukon.
Oh, darn, I wish I'd have heard it. It's a good number for our show?
Oh, it's beautiful. Larry sang it for me. It goes like this.
Drive carefully, Mary. Not so fast. Slow down. Watch out, there's a red light. Now it's green. Now it's red again. Hey, wait, there are 3 red lights. No, they're green. No, they're red, but there are 3 green lights, too. Hey, there's a blue light.
Jack, put on your glasses. That's a Christmas tree.
Oh, yes. Merry Christmas. Well, take it easy anyway, Mary. Don't drive so fast. Look out. Slow down. You're turning this corner too wide.
Oh, Jack, calm down. Don't be so nervous.
I can't help it. I'm always frightened when I'm with a woman driver.
Woman driver, woman driver. That's all you men always say. Woman driver this and woman driver that.
Mary.
And I'm getting sick and tired of it. We women can drive as well as you men any day. And lots of my girlfriends are better drivers than their husbands.
Mary.
And I read in a magazine where scientists have proved that women are better drivers than men.
Mary.
Because they're less nervous and they concentrate on the road better. was the other driver's fault. He didn't put out his hand.
But, Mary, you crashed into the side of a house.
What?
I kept trying to tell you for the last 10 minutes you've been driving on the sidewalk. My goodness, you've smashed your fenders, broken your grill, and busted your headlights.
So what? Muntz will give me more money for it now.
Well, anyway, there's a store across the street. We can leave the car here.
But, Jack, we can't leave the car here. We'll get a ticket.
A ticket? Where would he tie it? Let's go. Take it easy, will you? Hey, stop pushing. Mary, are you all right?
Yes, Jack, but you better let me hold your hand.
I can't. Somebody's standing on it. What a crowd. Say, Mary, let's not get separated. You've got my Christmas list. I got to buy something for Fred Allen and the Quiz Kids. You know, they lived at my house. Mary, what have I got marked down for Rochester?
Rochester?
Yes.
3 little handkerchiefs.
No, yeah, I better make that an even 4. I wonder where the perfume counter is. I want to get a present for my sister Florence.
Well, why don't you ask the floor walker?
Yeah. I beg your pardon. Are you the floor walker?
Yes, and stop breathing on my carnation. It's not as rugged as I am.
What?
They're hard to get, you know. I've kept this one for 3 years.
For 3 years? How comes it looks so fresh?
Because it's growing out of my chest. Anything else you want to know, nosy?
Yes, I'm looking for the perfume counter. Where is it?
It's straight down this aisle on the left.
Oh, there it is, Mary. Let's go over and see if it...
I beg your pardon, mister.
Oh, me?
Yes, what do you think I ought to buy my wife for Christmas?
Well, I don't know. Besides, that's a personal thing between you and your wife. You ought to figure that out yourself.
Figured out myself, he says. I've been racking my brains and knocked my head against the wall, and do I know what to buy my wife? No.
Well, I'm sorry, mister, but
That's all right. I'll figure it out. You ask a guy a simple question, what does he tell you? Figure it out yourself. That's fine Christmas spirit.
Come on, let's go to the perfume counter.
All right, but you never get waited on. The girl is so busy.
Well, I'll just reach over the counter and see what they have.
Oh, no, you don't.
What?
I saw you trying to steal some perfume.
I wasn't stealing it. I just wanted to see if it was alluring.
At your age, what difference does it make?
Now, look here. I told you I'm not trying to steal this perfume. I was only...
Stop breathing on my carnation.
I'm not breathing on your carnation, and get out of here.
Oh, you're just mad because my eyes are bluer than yours.
They are not. It's just this suit I'm wearing. And furthermore...
What can I do for you, sir?
I'd like to get some perfume. What would you recommend?
Well, we have a very popular brand called Friendship, 68 cents a gallon.
68 cents a gallon. What do you think, Mary?
The same as you. The price is right.
I didn't mean that. I was thinking about my sister in Waukegan. I wonder if she'd like this bottle of perfume.
Well, pull out the cork. You can smell it from here.
Oh, stop. Say, miss, haven't you got something else? What's in that bottle over there?
That's the new French perfume that just came in. It's called La Nuit Toujours Très Jolie Ici Maintenant.
That sounds nice. What does that mean in English?
Condensation of steam that's been forced through a motorman's glove.
Well, that's ridiculous. Come on, Mary, let's go to another counter.
Oh, I beg your pardon, mister. What do you think I ought to buy my wife for Christmas?
Look, I can't tell you what to buy your wife. You'll have to figure it out yourself.
Okay, I'll figure it out myself. Nobody wants to help me. Fine Christmas spirit. You think it was my fault that I'm married?
Thousands of people in the store, and I'm the one he had a pick on there.
Jack, I want to buy something for my mother. Ask the floor walker where the ladies' department is.
I'm not going to ask that guy anything.
Jack, we'll never find it in this crowd. You better ask him.
Oh, all right. Oh, Mr. Floor Walker.
Yes, my little bifocal yokel?
Say, Mr. Floor Walker, would you please tell me where the ladies' department is?
It's right down at the end of the... Oh, the department! That's over to your left.
Thank you. Come on, Mary. Let's get away from this
Hey,
guy.
Jackson!
Oh, look, Jack, there's Phil.
Hiya, Phil. Come here.
You come over here.
I can't. I'm looking for the ladies' department.
You're wasting your time, Jackson. They're all out of your size. All filthy like a
pair of glasses, you're making a spectacle of yourself.
Larry, come on, let's get away from here so we'll wind up in a routine.
I beg your pardon, mister. What do you think I ought to buy my wife for Christmas?
I don't know. For heaven's sake, stop following me. I don't care what you buy your wife for Christmas.
Oh, you don't care, huh? Suppose I'll buy her something she doesn't like, then she'll get mad at me.
Then don't buy her anything.
Don't buy her anything? We've been married for 12 years. What are you trying to do, break us up?
I'm not trying to do anything. I don't know your wife. I don't know what you're picking on me for. I've never seen your wife.
Hey, what's going on here?
What's the trouble? That man's been caught stealing somebody's wife.
What?
At your age, you gray-haired wolf.
Now, wait a minute. This man started the whole thing over his wife's Christmas present.
Well, I don't blame him. You had no business sending her one.
I didn't send her one.
Well, I wouldn't brag about it, you cheapskate.
Cheapskate?
Jack, it's your own fault for getting into this thing.
My fault? These people accuse me of trying...
Let me through. What's going on here? Oh, it's you little goopy with the droopy toopy.
Cut that out and don't blame me for this because it isn't my fault. This man came over to...
Stop breathing on my carpet!
I'll breathe on it as much as I like.
Stand back, everybody. The man's mad.
You're darn right I'm mad. This is all your fault, mister. Following me around the store asking me to what to buy your wife for Christmas. Buy her a dog collar for all I care.
What size?
There you are, folks. See what a crazy guy he is, and you blame me. Why, it's not my fault. I'm not the type that would start trouble. I'm a peaceful, home-loving...
Shut up!
Jack will be back in just a minute.
The Jack Benny Program.
At 40, sold American.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw. LSMFT, LSMFT, LSMFT.
Sure thing.
You said it.
Yes, sir.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
It takes fine tobacco to make a fine cigarette. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Yes, first, last, and always. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. At markets now open in the South, independent tobacco experts present at the auctions can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy the finer, the lighter, the naturally milder Lucky Strike tobacco. So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike.
The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Larry Stevens, and yours truly, Don Wilson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we take you to Jack Benny's home in Beverly Hills, where we find Rochester very busy addressing Christmas cards.
There, just about 10 more and I'll be through addressing Mr. Benny's Christmas cards. Now, let's see. Mr. and Mrs. Bing Crosby and family, Mr. and Mrs. Eddie Cantor and family. Man, he sure killed a bunch of birds with those two stones. These are pretty nice cards the boss is sending out this year, and he sure knows how to economize on them. Just look at that. Christmas greetings 1944 to 1950 included. And to whom it may concern. Well, last I got all the cards addressed. Doggone, I wish the boss would buy stamps. I feel so conspicuous putting on that gray uniform and going from door to door.
Oh, Rochester. Are you through addressing those cards?
Yes, Mr. Benny.
Good. I'll be down in a minute.
Okay. Say, I wonder what the boss boss is going to get me for a present. I heard him say he was going shopping this afternoon, so better start dropping a few hints. No, he's immune to hints. I better lay it right on him.
So you're all through with the cards, eh, Rochester?
Yes, sir. Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Say,
oh, what fun it
say,
is
you
to-
sound happy today. What happened?
Oh, nothing. I've just been thinking how lucky I am to be working for a man like you.
Really?
Yeah. Now, you take my friend Sam. He works for one of the stingiest men in the world. Why, last year for Christmas, all he gave Sam was 3 little handkerchiefs.
Well, Rochester, I don't think that's such a bad
I'll
present.
never forget Christmas Day. Down on Central Avenue, everyone was showing off their new wristwatches and gold cigarette cases and diamond rings, and there was Sam with those 3 little handkerchiefs.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. It really embarrassed poor Sam when people asked him what his boss gave him for Christmas, and he had to pull out those 3 little handkerchiefs.
How can a man be that cheap?
It's possible, boss. It's possible.
Well, Rochester, you don't understand the spirit of Christmas. The important thing is the fact that you'll remember. The gift itself is nothing.
I know. That's the kind of propaganda I'm trying to overcome.
Oh. Say, I better hurry up if I want to get my shopping done. I've got to pick up Miss Livingston first. Rochester, while I'm dressing, turn on the radio, will you?
Okay, boy.
And in case you don't like chops or steaks, then simply take a 12-pound standing rib roast. Cover generously with strips from 2 or 3 pounds of bacon, and then place in oven. While this is roasting, you can make a tasty frosting for your cake by mixing 1 quart of sweet whipping cream with a large-sized can of crushed pineapple and a pound of butter. Then call in all your friends and neighbors to help you eat this simple meal.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just listened to another weekly broadcast of Memories of Yesteryear.
Rochester, wipe off my chin and get another station.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, does your complexion suffer from tattletale gray? Do the crow's feet around your eyes have fallen arches? Do you have dandruff? When you comb your hair, do your shoulders remind you of a white Christmas? They do? Then why don't you try a bottle of Sympathy Soothing Syrup? Remember, folks, sympathy spelled backwards is Yatapamus. Y-A-T-A-P-M-Y-S.
Get Tapamas, get Tapamas, get Tapamas, fight your blues away.
Hey, Rochester, that's pretty good stuff. Did you ever use any of that sympathy soothing syrup?
Boss, if it comes in a bottle, I've tried it.
I know.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Sympathy Soothing Syrup Quartet will sing Dance with the Dolly, accompanied by Snoogey Getz and the sweetest music this side of the La Brea Tar Pits Orchestra.
Well, Snoogey Getz. You've got a good band, Rochester. See, I'll just have time to listen to this, and I'm going to walk over to Mary's house. That's what I'll do.
As I was walking down the street, I met somebody who was mighty sweet, mighty fair to see. I asked her, would she like to have a talk, make some talk. All the fellas standing on the walk, wishing they were me. Oh, mama, put the cat out tonight. Meow, wow! I worked all day, I'm gonna scat. and I won't be home until dawn. Gonna dance with the dolly with a hole in her stocking while her knees knock and our toes rock. Gonna dance, gonna dance, gonna dance, gonna dance with the dolly, hole in her stocking. Gonna dance by the light of the moon.
Gee, it's nice out today. I hope Mary will be ready when I get there. Ya-da-dee-da-dum, da-dee-da-dum, ba-dum, ba-bee-da-da-dum. Hello. Hello, little doggy. Ya-da-dee-da-dum, da-dee-da-dum, da-dee-da-da-da-da-dee. Da-da-da-da-da-dum, da-dee. Go away, doggy. Well, it's my own fault. Try to be nice to people. Sweet Georgia Brown. Oh, hello, Don.
Oh, hello, Jack. I was just coming over to your house.
You were?
Yeah, I got that Christmas present you ordered for your sponsor.
Oh, the ashtray? Good. Did you have it engraved like I told you to?
Sure, Jack. Here it is on the side. See?
Oh, yes. To my sponsor, Mr. Hill, I hope this ashtray you will fill. And when you do, just think of me and good old LS MFT. LS stands for Lucky Strike, and MFT means fine tobacco. So season's greetings and the like to you and yours from Little Jacko. Isn't that cute, Don?
Yes. And by the way, Jack, I hope you don't mind if it costs more than you expected. I had a little music box installed in it.
A music box?
Yes, our sponsor will love it.
Gee, an ashtray with a music box is a swell idea. Let me hear it, Don.
Okay, wait till I wind it up.
Okay. That's perfect. Send it right over to him, will you, Don?
All right, Jack. See you later.
Okay. Da-dee-dum-ba-da-dum-dum, sweet Georgia Brown. Here's the drugstore. I think I'll go in and try some of that sympathy soothing syrup. Seems to be good for everything. And that's just what I've got. Anyway, I've got a few minutes before I have to call for Mary. Might as well go in.
What can I do for you, sir?
I'd like to try a bottle of that sympathy soothing syrup.
Sympathy soothing syrup?
Yes.
Sympathy, spelled backwards, is you tap a miss.
I know.
You tap a miss. You tap a miss. You tap a miss.
Drive your blues away. Yes, that's what I want.
Well, you know, this is rather an old-fashioned drugstore.
Old-fashioned?
Yes, I wouldn't want this to get around, but we still have some products in here that are spelled frontward.
Frontward?
Yes. Frontward, spelled backwards, is Strodnor.
I don't care about it. Now, look, I want a small bottle of sympathy soothing syrup.
Oh, the 10-cent size. Here you are.
Thank you. Would you mind giving me a glass? I'd like to try some of it right now.
All right, I'll fix the correct dose for you. I just pour 1 tablespoon of this soothing syrup into this glass of water.
Uh-huh.
There. Now, listen to it fizz. With a 25-cent size, we give you a hip boost.
Never mind. Just get me a towel. Now wrap up my bottle.
Okay.
Hello, Jack.
Oh, hello, Frankie. How are you? How's Mrs. Sinatra?
Fine. Say, Jack, don't forget you're going to be on my program tomorrow night.
Oh, sure, I won't forget. See you tomorrow.
Okay, so long. Oh, by the way, Jack, do you know what I found out?
What?
That Sinatra spelled backwards is Artanas.
That's pretty good. So long, Frankie.
So long, Jack. Why did I have to ask him to come on my program? His jokes will probably louse up my singing.
What'd you say, Frankie?
Oh, nothing, Jack. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Yeah, sorry, I promised to go on this program, and singing will louse up my jokes there. Oh, gee, look how late it is. I better go over and pick up Mary.
Pardon me, Mr. Benny.
Yes? What is it, honey?
Well, all the girls in my class in high school were collecting autographs and...
Well, how do you like that? I only spoke to Frankie, and I got some of it on me.
Yes.
Miss Livingston is expecting me, Pauline.
Oh, yes. Come right in, Mr. Benny.
Is Miss Livingston ready yet?
No, Mr. Benny. I was just helping her squeeze into her...
Into her what?
Well, anyway, she'll be putting on her dress next.
Oh, for goodness sake, why are women always late?
Oh, hello, Jack.
Oh, there you are, Mary. How come you're never on time when we have an appointment?
What are you talking about exactly? 3 o'clock now, look.
Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. Ruin watch time.
What?
Cuckoo.
I'm sorry, Mary. I thought you were cuckoo. I mean, late.
Anyway, you were supposed to pick me up 10 minutes ago, so you're the one that's late.
Well, I would have been here sooner, but first I gave a girl an autograph, then when I got to the corner here, I gave an autograph to a little boy.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Jack, why don't you stop chasing him?
I didn't chase them. They asked me. In fact, the little boy said that he'd be very happy if he could have the autograph of an actor as famous as I. Naturally, I couldn't refuse such a request.
Well, Natch.
But Mary, when I signed my name, the boy said, "Oh, pardon me, sir, I mistook you for someone else."
Another actor?
Yeah. Mary, who is Vitamin Flintheart?
It's hard to explain, Jack, but Vitamin Flintheart is the same to Snowflake as you are to me.
Well, thank you, I think. Anyway, come on, Mary. We won't get any shopping done.
All right. I've got my car parked in the driveway.
Good.
Oh, say, Jack, Larry Stevens was here a few minutes ago looking for you. He wanted you to hear a new song he was going to do on the program.
Oh, well, get in the car, Mary. What was the name of Larry's song?
It's called A Sleigh Ride in July, and it's from a new picture, Belle of the Yukon.
Oh, darn it. I wish I'd have heard it. Is it a good number for our show?
Oh, it's beautiful. Larry sang it for me. It goes like this.
Mockingbird was whistling a sentimental tune, and I didn't know enough to come in out of the moonlight. I was taken for a sleigh ride in July. Oh, I must have been a setup for a sigh. A mockingbird was whistling a sentimental tune, and I didn't know enough to come in out of the moonlight. So the big romance was only make-believe, just a sleigh ride on a balmy summer eve. My dreams were safe all winter, and then to think that I was taken for a sleigh ride in June.
Drive carefully, Mary. Not so fast. Slow down. Watch out, there's a red light. Now it's green. Now it's red again. Hey, wait, there are 3 red lights. No, they're green. No, they're red, but there are 3 green lights, too. Hey, there's a blue light.
Jack, put on your glasses. That's a Christmas tree.
Oh, yes. Merry Christmas. Well, take it easy anyway, Mary. Don't drive so fast. Look out. Slow down. You're turning this corner too wide.
Oh, Jack, calm down. Don't be so nervous.
I can't help it. I'm always frightened when I'm with a woman driver.
Woman driver, woman driver. That's all you men always say. Woman driver this and woman driver that.
Mary.
And I'm getting sick and tired of it. We women can drive as well as you men any day. And lots of my girlfriends are better drivers than their husbands.
Mary.
And I read in a magazine where scientists have proved that women are better drivers than men.
Mary.
Because they're less nervous and they concentrate on the road better. And they have a
Mary.
It was the other driver's fault. He didn't put out his hand.
But, Mary, you crashed into the side of a house.
What?
I kept trying to tell you for the last 10 minutes you've been driving on the sidewalk. My goodness, you've smashed your fenders, broken your grill, and busted your headlights.
So what? Muntz will give me more money for it now.
Yes, well, anyway, there's a store across the street. We can leave the car here.
But, Jack, we can't leave the car here. We'll get a ticket.
A ticket? Where would he tie it? Let's go. Take it easy, will you? Hey, stop pushing. Mary, are you all right?
Yes, Jack, but you better let me hold your hand.
I can't. Somebody's standing on it. What a crowd. Say, Mary, let's not get separated. You've got my Christmas list. I got to buy something for Fred Allen and the Quiz Kid. You know, they lived at my house. Mary, what have I got marked down for Rochester?
Rochester?
Yes.
3 little handkerchiefs.
Oh, yeah, I better make that an even 4. I wonder where the perfume counter is. I want to get a present for my sister Florence.
Well, why don't you ask the floor walker?
Yeah. I beg your pardon. Are you the floor walker?
Yes, and stop breathing on my carnation. It's not as rugged as I am.
What?
They're hard to get, you know. I've kept this one for 3 years.
For 3 years? How comes it looks so fresh?
Because it's growing out of my chest. Anything else you want to know, nosy?
Yes, I'm looking for the perfume counter. Where is it?
It's straight down this aisle on the left.
Oh, there it is, Mary. Let's go over and see if we can...
I beg your pardon, mister.
Oh, me?
Yes, what do you think I ought to buy my wife for Christmas?
Well, I don't know. Besides, that's a personal thing between you and your wife. You ought to figure that out yourself.
Figured out myself, he says. I've been racking my brains and knocking my head against the wall, and do I know what to buy my wife? No.
Well, I'm sorry, mister, but
That's all right. I'll figure it out. You ask a guy a simple question, what does he tell you? Figure it out yourself. That's fine Christmas spirit.
Silly guy. Come on, let's go to the perfume counter.
All right, but you never get waited on. The girl is so busy.
Well, I'll just reach over the counter and see what they have.
Oh, no, you don't.
What?
I saw you trying to steal some perfume.
I wasn't stealing it. I just wanted to see if it was alluring.
At your age, what difference does it make?
Now, look here. I told you I'm not trying to steal this perfume. I was only...
Stop breathing on my carnation.
I'm not breathing on your carnation, and get out of here.
Oh, you're just mad because my eyes are bluer than yours.
They are not. It's just this suit I'm wearing. And furthermore...
What can I do for you, sir?
I'd like to get some perfume. What would you recommend?
Well, we have a very popular brand called Friendship, 68 cents a gallon.
68 cents a gallon. What do you think, Mary?
The same as you. The price is right.
I didn't mean that. I was thinking about my sister in Waukegan. I wonder if she'd like this bottle of perfume.
Well, pull out the cork. You can smell it from here.
Oh, stop. Say, miss, haven't you got something else? What's in that bottle over there?
That's the new French perfume that just came in. It's called La Nuit Toujours Très Jolie Ici Maintenant.
That sounds nice. What does that mean in English?
Condensation of steam that's been forced through a motorman's glove.
Well, that's ridiculous. Come on, Mary. Let's go to another counter.
Oh, I beg your pardon, mister. What do you think I ought to buy my wife for Christmas?
Look, I can't tell you what to buy your wife. You'll have to figure it out yourself.
Okay. I'll figure it out myself. Nobody wants to help me. Fine Christmas spirit. You think it was my fault that I'm married?
Thousands of people in the store, and I'm the one he had to pick on there.
Jack, I want to buy something for my mother. Ask the floor walker where the ladies' department is.
I'm not going to ask that guy anything.
Jack, we'll never find it in this crowd. You better ask him.
Oh, all right. Oh, Mr. Floorwalker.
Yes, my little bifocal yokel?
Say, Mr. Floorwalker, would you please tell me where the ladies' department is?
It's right down at the end of the... Oh, the department. That's over to your left.
Thank you. Come on, Mary. Let's get away from this
Hey,
guy.
Jackson.
Oh, look, Jack, there's Phil.
Hiya, Phil. Come here. You come over here.
I can't. I'm looking for the ladies' department.
You're wasting your time, Jackson. They're all out of your size. Oh, filthy like a pair of glasses. You're making a spectacle of yourself.
Mary, come on. Let's get away from here so we'll wind up in a routine.
I beg your pardon, mister. What do you think I ought to buy my wife for Christmas?
I don't know. For heaven's sake, stop following me. I don't care what you buy your wife for Christmas.
Oh, you don't care, huh? Suppose I buy her something she doesn't like, then she'll get mad at me.
Then don't buy her anything.
Don't buy her anything. We've been married for 12 years. What are you trying to do, break us up?
I'm not trying to do anything. I don't know your wife. I don't know what you're picking on me for. I've never seen your wife.
Hey, what's going on here?
What's the trouble? That man's been caught stealing somebody's wife.
What?
At your age, you gray-haired wolf.
Now, wait a minute. Wait, this man started the whole thing over his wife's Christmas present.
Well, I don't blame him. You had no business sending her one.
I didn't send her one.
Well, I wouldn't brag about it, you cheapskate.
Cheapskate?
Jack, it's your own fault for getting into this thing.
My fault? These people accuse me of trying...
Let me through. What's going on here? Oh, it's you little goopy with the droopy toopy.
Now, cut that out and don't blame me for this because it isn't my fault. This man came over to me...
Stop breathing on my carnation.
I'll breathe on it as much as I like.
Stand back, everybody. The man's mad.
You're darn right I'm mad. This is all your fault, mister. Following me around the store asking me to buy your wife for Christmas. Buy her a dog collar for all I care.
What size?
What size? There you are, folks. You see what a crazy guy he is, and you blame me. Why, it's not my fault. I'm not the type that would start trouble. I'm a peaceful, home-loving...
Shut up!
Oh, come on, Mary. Let's get out.
Jack will be back in just a minute, but first, here are my good friends F.E. Boone and Kenneth Delmar.
Sold American.
If you could be present at the tobacco auctions now open down south, you could see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy the finer, the lighter, the naturally milder Lucky Strike tobacco.
This fine Lucky Strike tobacco means real deep-down smoking enjoyment for you. So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
The famous tobacco auctioneers heard on tonight's program are Mr. F.E. Boone of Lexington, Kentucky.
At 44, sold American.
And Mr. L.A. Speed Riggs of Goldsboro, North Carolina.
Sold American.
Basil Rysdale speaking for Lucky Strike. LS-MFT, LS-MFT, LS-MFT.
Make no mistake, in a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts. So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure all of us have run across men in uniform who are trying to get home for Christmas, but can't because buses and trains are so crowded. We know how important it is that men on furlough get to be with their loved ones at this time especially. Every time a civilian crowds into a train or a bus for a trip that's not absolutely necessary, you can bet 10 to 1 he's preventing a serviceman from being home for Christmas. That serviceman may have spent long months overseas. Mothers and wives have every right to ask, Won't you give my boy a chance to get home? We should answer, I certainly will. I promise you I will not travel unless my trip helps win this war. And another important thing, folks, don't forget to buy Christmas seals. Thank you very, very much.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Tales of espionage are coming at you with CounterSpy next.
The National Broadcasting Company presents CounterSpy.
Washington calling David Harding, CounterSpy. Washington calling David Harding, CounterSpy.
Harding, CounterSpy. Calling Washington.
United States counterspies, especially appointed to investigate and combat the enemies of our country, both at home and abroad.
These CounterSpy reports to the American people are brought to you each Friday night. Tonight, Case of the Foreign Fires.
There it is. Defense Department Storage Depot number 3.
The gate's about 100 yards from this corner, isn't it?
Yes. Drive right up to it. See if the sentry's awake.
No challenge. Looks like he's asleep.
Who goes there? Shouldn't jump to conclusions. Captain Taylor, Lieutenant Brand, Inspector General's office.
Advance and be recognized.
You stay at the wheel, Lieutenant?
Yes, sir.
All right, Sentry.
May I see your AGO card, sir?
Yeah, here it is. I'll pass it through the gate. We're spot checking security measures for the IG's office.
Yes, sir. Your AGO card.
Thank you, Corporal. All right, Lieutenant, drive in. Well, security at this entrance is in good shape.
Thank you, sir.
There's another sentry at the south gate, isn't there?
Yes, sir.
We'll see how alert he is when we come on him from the rear.
You'll find Corporal Billings.
Nice work, Lieutenant. Out like a light. Yeah. All right, load him in the back of the Jeep. We'll take care of the other sentry and then get down to the real business of the evening.
That does it, Lieutenant. Cut it, Mike, before you start thinking you're really brass. Hey, you dragged those 2 sentries in here. What's the idea?
When this warehouse goes up in smoke, they go up too. And there's nobody around to identify us.
I don't like it, Mike. Murder ain't part of this.
Stop crying, Kenny. That's part of our deal. We'll put a torch to the joint and leave no witnesses. Or don't you want to get paid off?
Yeah. I want to get paid off.
Okay, then. Your stuff all set?
Yeah, it's all set. I'll touch off this waste. It'll smolder for about 15 minutes and then reach the gasoline. In 20 minutes, this whole joint will be in flames.
Good enough. We'll be far enough away by then. All right, touch it off and let's beat it.
Right. All right, let's go.
Department of Defense to CounterSpy headquarters. Request immediate investigation of fire in our storage depot number 3, Hagerstown, Maryland. Fire consumes stockpile raw materials for defense. Therefore, request this investigation be given personal attention of David Harding, CounterSpy Chief.
Will Mr. Peters in the CounterSpy Statistical Department please report to Mr. Harding immediately? Will Mr. Peters in the CounterSpy...
Yes, Mr. Harding? This teletype just came in from the Defense Department, Peters.
Huh?
The raw material was cinchona bark.
Cinchona? That's what they make quinine out of.
Yes. And building up a big stockpile of it. This fire may have destroyed a third of our entire supply.
Any more details than this, Chief?
No, not right now. That's why I want you to go up there and take personal charge for me.
Will do.
Now, our Baltimore field office has already been notified they'll have a mobile laboratory and agents on the scene by the time you get there.
Good.
And, Peters, I want your investigation to be thorough and send me complete reports. From the sparse details we've gotten so far, it's barely possible this fire may be of accidental origin.
But not likely, hmm?
No, not when we know how valuable quinine would be in the event of any armed conflict in the East or the Near East. No, Peters, I'll lay odds you'll find evidence of sabotage.
What is this, Lieutenant? An all-day march?
Will you cut that lieutenant stuff, Mike?
Hey, now, Kenny boy. You shouldn't talk to a captain like that.
Some captain.
I thought I looked pretty in a uniform. What are you pacing for, Kenny boy? Sit down and relax.
I don't feel like relaxing. This place gives me the creeps.
Ah, you're a big boy, Kenny. Don't be afraid of an empty house, even if it is supposed to be haunted.
That's very funny. But just how long are we going to have to hang around here?
Till Gregor shows up and pays off.
Yeah, real bright deal he is. We don't know a thing about him. Supposing he don't show.
I know all about him, Kenny. He just thinks I don't. He'll show, and he'll pay off. And then a couple of months from now, he'll pay some more.
You going to put the squeeze on him?
Why not? He's got plenty of dough behind him.
I got it, that.
And in his line of business, he can't squawk at a squeeze. They shoot spies.
And hang murderers. Count me out. I just want the payoff. You can do your whistling act solo.
You? Passing up easy change?
Now, look. It stopped being easy when we left those soldiers in the warehouse. I never should have let you...
Take a look, Kenny.
Gregor and that tomato of his, Irene.
Yeah? She can climb in my cell at any time.
Okay, Mike, okay. You take the tomato, I'll take the lettuce. Long green bills. Let's get this payoff over with fast and wash up the deal, huh?
Well, then let the man in, Kenny.
Oh, Gregor, Irene.
How do you do, Kenneth? Michael?
Hi, Gregor.
That hi in front of Gregor always sounds so incongruous.
I'll take English lessons. You want to teach me?
It might be interesting.
Irene.
Let's cut the chatter and get down to business, huh?
That's what I like. The direct American approach.
You owe us 5 G's. Pay off and we'll wind this up.
G's?
He means thousands, Gregor.
Of dollars, Gregor.
Oh, of course, Michael.
What about the other projects, shall we say?
Well, let's settle this.
Wait a minute, Mike. What other projects?
Didn't you discuss them with your partner, Michael?
Shut up, Kenny. I'll talk to you later.
You'll talk now. Were you cooking up a deal with this character for more jobs?
He was. We had in mind several projects, the first of which was a rubber stockpile I would be most happy to see vanish.
As far as I'm concerned, this was strictly a one-shot deal that I'm sorry I ever got into.
May I ask why, Kenneth?
Sure. Sabotage. I didn't like the smell of it from the start, but Mike talked me into it for a fast $5,000.
Don't tell me you are suddenly becoming patriotic, Kenneth.
Yeah. Maybe that's it, huh?
Perhaps that's why you did not fulfill your part of the agreement.
We did the job.
Wait a minute, Kenny. Now, look, Gregor. We burned the joint down, Don't try to pull a fast shuffle on us.
True, but both sentries were to be eliminated.
They were.
Not according to this newspaper bulletin. Here, read it.
No fatalities occurring from the fire have as yet been reported, though the 2 sentries on duty were severely burned. What?
That's what it says.
Well,
Kenneth.
they must have come to before the fire got a good start, that's all.
I'm greatly disappointed, Michael. I had always gotten the impression from American films that your type of man was thorough about these things.
Okay, so we're not knock the price down.
Yeah, but let's wash this up now fast.
I'm afraid it's not as simple as that.
Gregor.
I'll handle this, Irene.
What do you mean, not simple?
The sentries could identify you both. And you, in turn, could identify us. Not a happy situation.
Now, listen, Gregor.
I think you'd better listen, Michael.
A gun. You can't pull anything like this.
I pull nothing, Michael. You have merely handled your job inefficiently. Therefore, you must be liquidated.
Gregor, I would like to leave.
This will only take a minute, Irene.
Why, you dirty spy, and I'll get you for this.
Your friend Kenneth was impetuous, Michael. Are you?
You double-crosser.
So true.
All right, get it over with. Shoot.
No, Michael. I have a better use for you than I had for your helper. Turn around.
What for?
No questions. Turn.
What comes next?
This.
Gregor,
Later, Irene. I will need your help to carry this one out to our car. He will play a big part in our plans for a really impressive bit of sabotage.
Mr. Harding. Where are you, Chief?
In here, Peters. Shaving.
Oh. Stepping out for the night?
No, I've been here in the office all day waiting to hear from you. Thought I'd save some time by shaving now.
All right, I'll wait till you finish.
Oh, go ahead. Talk while I shave. I'm almost through.
Well, Chief, there's no doubt the fire was sabotage.
Yes, I gathered that from the news flash about the sentries there. How are they?
Suffering from shock and second-degree burns.
Yeah? Couldn't question them?
Little. One of them said he could identify the men who did it, and that's when the doctor ushered me out of the room.
When we'll be able to question them more thoroughly.
Well, the doc said probably tomorrow, day after at the latest.
Good.
The best part about it, Chief, is this. We've got a clear set of fingerprints on one of the arsonists.
Fingerprints? Where?
On the leather-tie belt the sentries wear on guard duty. The sentries apparently were dragged into the warehouse by those belts.
Oh, that's great.
I'll get that, Chief. Our fingerprint section's classifying the prints now. We may get an identification out of it.
I hope so.
Hello? Yes, this is Mr. Harding's office. No, this is not Mr. Harding speaking. Just a moment. For you, Chief. A female.
Well, I'll be right there.
What's she look like, Chief? Or is it a secret?
Stop trying to be a comic. Give me that phone.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Is this Mr. David Harding?
It is.
You would perhaps like to know something about the fire in the defense warehouse in Maryland.
Of course. Who is this?
I will meet you if you can guarantee me protection.
If you've got anything to tell us, you'll be protected to the full extent of our ability.
Very well, then. I will come to your headquarters.
When? How will we know you?
What is it, Dave?
Wait.
I will be there in half an hour, wearing a camel's hair coat and black tam.
Yes?
Meet me at the entrance to your headquarters. And when I am safely in your custody, I will tell you not only about the fire, but about plans that are being made for even greater sabotage against our country.
Back to CounterSpy in a moment. It is urgent that all of us give full and continued attention to the problem of employing workers with physical handicaps. Employing physically handicapped workers makes them self-supporting, saves public funds, increases the number of taxpayers, boosts production, and benefits your community. Prejudice and lack of correct information are the greatest obstacles to employment of workers who are handicapped, but who are otherwise fully equipped to do a good job in business and industry. The injured or crippled, whether disabled by birth, accident, or disease, should be encouraged to get in touch with their state divisions of vocational rehabilitation or with the Veterans Administration if their disability took place before July 26, 1947, in connection with service and in the armed forces. Those ready and trained for work should be urged to register with the state employment offices. Employers should also be reminded to use these facilities. For further information, write Vice Admiral Ross T. McIntyre, Room 1136, United States Department of Labor, Washington 25, D.C. And now, back to CounterSpy.
You sure she said half an hour, Mr. Harding?
That's what I heard, Peters.
It's almost 40 minutes since the call and no camel's hair coat and black tan yet.
Well, we'll just have to wait.
There's a cab stopping now, Chief.
Yeah, that could be. That's her.
Look at her. She's weaving.
Is it? Come on, Peters.
Chief, that car coming up behind the cab.
Hey, what's going on here? Peters, take the car. I'll get the girl. Miss. Peters, come here.
My shots went wide, Chief, but I got the license number and make of the car.
Get it right up to our radio communications room and out to the Washington Police patrol cars.
Right.
And call our medical section. Tell them to send a stretcher out here. This girl's been hit bad.
To all Washington police cars from CounterSpy headquarters, be on alert for black Packard sedan, Montana license number 891-72-13. Occupants armed and dangerous. If car spotted, notify CounterSpy headquarters immediately. That is all.
How is she, Doctor? Is it serious?
Well, not the wounds. It's just a flesh wound in the arm. The bullet went clear through, and her side was creased by a bullet.
I see. Well, can I talk to her?
I'm afraid not. The effects of shock. She's in a state of trauma, almost like a drug sleep.
When can I talk to her?
Well, when she comes out of shock.
Any idea when that'll be?
10 minutes, 10 hours.
Oh, great. Will you mind standing by until she does come out of the shock? I'll want to talk to her immediately. You better check the fact that I can.
I'll be standing by, Mr. Harding.
Do you want to move her, or will she be all right in that couch in my office?
Oh, better to let her remain where she is.
All right, whatever you say.
How is she, Chief?
Unconscious for the moment. Anything on that car?
Excuse me, Mr. Harding. I'll go in and keep an eye on her.
Right, Doctor. Let me know the minute I can talk to her.
Yes, sir.
Now, what about the car, Peters?
No trace of it, Chief. But there was a report just a few minutes ago of a car accident on the banks of the Potomac.
Oh?
A black sedan went into the river. I'm having it raised now, and I'll bet it's our baby. Empty.
Did you check on the Montana license?
Yes. I called our field office in Montana. They'll wake the clerk of the Motor Vehicle Bureau and get to us as soon as possible.
Good. What about the bullets?
We found the 3 of them on the steps to our headquarters, Chief. The laboratory's got them now. Meanwhile, we got an unexpected break.
Yeah, what?
When that car drove away, it went through a puddle of water. And we've got a beautiful set of photos of the tire tracks.
Good.
I've put them through the regular routine. We'll have agents checking them as soon as we raise that car from the river.
That's fine, Peters. Now, any report on the fingerprints on that sentry's belt?
Not yet, Chief. I'll check that right away.
Okay. But first, Peters, let's take out some insurance on the girl.
How?
There are a bunch of reporters in the lobby very anxious to know what this is all about. Tell them the whole story, but embellish one fact. Tell them the girl was fatally wounded.
Okay, Chief.
Now, you keep me posted on the results you get from the bullets and the tire tracks. I'll stick here. I want to talk to that girl the minute she regains consciousness.
Well, Mr. Harding. Chief.
Oh, Peters.
Fine thing. While I'm running my feet off chasing lab reports.
Never mind, Peters. This job, you have to catch your sleep while you can.
That sounds good.
Besides, that's why it's good to be the boss. Oh, what time is it?
That's more like the reason. It's almost 2 in the morning.
2? Well, that girl's been unconscious for almost 3 hours.
Just about.
Hope she comes around soon. Oh, what have you got?
Well, the prints on the sentry's belt belong to a guy we've got in our files.
American?
Yes. Michael Deacon, a small-time arsonist. I've already put out a pickup on him.
Good. What about the license?
We drew a blank there. That Montana license belongs to a Miss Abigail Buffington, whose own car and license at the moment are in her garage in Montana, while she's probably trying to get back to the sound sleep our agent woke her from.
Yeah, phony plate, huh?
Mm-hmm. And nothing on the tire tracks yet either.
And the bullets?
Now, there's something that...
Mr. Harding? Oh, hello, Peters.
Hello, Doc.
The girl's conscious, Doctor?
Yes, no trace of shock. Splendid recovery. She could go home right now if she had to, with just a fresh dressing on that flesh wound in her arm.
Well, then I can talk to her.
For as long as you want.
Before you do, Chief, take a look at this report on the bullets.
I see. It's very interesting. Doctor.
Yes, Mr. Harding.
Get me a complete medical report on the shooting as soon as you can, will you?
Certainly, sir.
You stick out here, Peters. I may need you.
Right, Chief.
Well, how are you now, Miss Waters?
Oh, Mr. Harding?
Yes,
You know my name.
from the cards in your purse.
Of course. Listen, Mr. Harding, I must tell you immediately about the fire in Maryland.
We know about it, Miss Waters, the fact that it was sabotaged.
Yes, but do you know there is another such incident planned for tonight?
What? Where?
At a rubber depot in Purdy, Virginia.
Go on. Peters,
Yes, Chief.
get this. Continue, Miss Waters.
Well, it's the Defense Department rubber stockpile in Purdy, Virginia. It is to be set fire to tonight by a man named Gregor Markov.
All right, Peters, get busy on notifying Purdy.
Right away, Chief.
Now, Miss Waters.
Oh, please, Mr. Harding, before you continue, could I ask a favor?
And what is it?
Would it be possible for you to tell the papers that I am dead? The shooting, it would be so good. That way I could live without fear.
It has already been done, Miss Waters.
Oh, wonderful. Now I have much to tell you.
Well, yes, go on.
Well, as you may have gathered, I am not American, though I am a naturalized citizen.
Yeah?
I came to this country in 1936 at the height of the Depression.
I can guess part of the story. You became involved in quite a few causes and activities, huh?
Yes, I'm sorry to
Mr.
say...
Harding, that depot in Purdy, it's already ablaze. They're fighting the fire now.
What?
But it can't be. It was for tonight.
Well, it's now 2 o'clock in the morning, Miss Waters.
I've been unconscious that long?
Yes. Now, Peters, get out there right away. Take charge of the investigation.
All right, Chief.
Now, Miss Waters, go right ahead.
Please. Mr. Harding, I suddenly feel very weak. Could we continue this later?
You have more to tell me.
Much. Many names and people you would not imagine would betray this country, but my strength is not up to it now.
Well, you can rest right
Oh,
here.
I would rather my own apartment.
Your own apartment?
It is one that I've kept for myself. They don't know of it. If you could only put a guard on it.
Well, all right, Miss Waters. I'll have one of our agents escort you home, and we'll have an agent watching your apartment every second you're there.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Harding.
Do you know how to use a gun?
A little, but I haven't got one.
Well, I'll give you one, just for added insurance.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Harding.
I'll be around to see you in the morning. We'll pick up this conversation then.
All right, Mr. Harding. I'm sure that what I have to tell you will hold many surprises for you.
I'm sure it will, Miss Waters. Now, just rest here, and I'll send for an agent and a car to take you home.
Thank you, Mr. Crandall.
That's all right, Miss Waters.
You will be at my door all night.
Well, that's the job Mr. Harding gave me. Don't worry, I'll be here.
That is good to know. Good night.
Good night.
Hello, Irene.
Oh. Gregor, you had plenty of time?
More than enough. How did your part go?
Perfectly. There's a CounterSpy outside the door now guarding me.
Wonderful. I'll be perfectly safe in here then.
Yes. The depot's destroyed?
I'm afraid not completely, but that's unimportant. The main item is for you to gain the confidence of the CounterSpies.
What about Michael's body?
In the depot, burned beyond recognition. But my rings, watch, and identification are all on him.
Well, that will confirm my story about you.
Should be the first step in getting you into the confidence of the CounterSpies.
Yes, but I'll have to have more to tell Mr. Harding when he comes here in the morning.
There will be plenty to tell. Here's a list of names of people who have aided us in the past. You can betray them.
They will do some talking themselves.
They can tell nothing of value. The important thing is to get you firmly into CounterSpy headquarters. Then we will be able to learn much of value to us.
I hope so, Gregor.
How's your arm, my dear?
Throbs a bit, but otherwise all right. It was fortunate we made the 2 wounds before I left for the CounterSpy headquarters. At At least it allowed us to control the seriousness of the injuries.
It was almost a mistake, Irene. I noticed you staggering when you left the cab. If you had collapsed before I had a chance to fire.
I didn't. But I am ready to collapse now, so let me retire. I would like to be fresh for the fairy tales I must tell Mr. Harding in the morning. Mr. Harding.
Good morning, Miss Waters. Okay, Crandall, you can go home and get some shut-eye now. I'll take over.
Thank you, Mr. Harding.
Oh, come in.
Tell me, how do you feel this morning?
Excellent, but the fire in Purdy, was the rubber depot a total loss?
Not quite, but I'd like to show you something.
Yes?
This ring and this watch. Have you ever seen them before?
Yes. They are Gregor Markov's. Where did you get them?
From a body found in the fire.
Gregor dead?
The way we reconstruct it, he set fire to the depot. He started to leave, and he must have slipped on some oil slick. He was knocked out. That was it. Fracture of the skull.
Gregor dead. Wonderful. Now, Mr. Harding, I can speak without fear.
Except for the fact that the body wasn't Gregor's.
What?
There were enough fingerprints to identify him as one Michael Deacon.
I don't understand.
And the gentleman had been dead for at least 3 hours before the fire started, so he couldn't have set it off. Which makes me think, Miss Waters, that your quick acceptance of Markoff's death is a little too convenient.
Stay where you are, Mr. Harding. Don't forget you gave me this gun yourself.
Now we're out in the open, huh?
Quite. Gregor!
I heard, Irene.
So, this is Gregor Markoff.
Yes, Mr. Harding. It's a shame your American methods of crime deduction are so efficient.
A beautiful scheme to gain the confidence of the counterspies. With you in this apartment, we'd have been guarding the very man we'd be searching for. It's too bad. It's a total loss.
Not a total loss, Mr. Harding.
Oh?
At least from this, we can salvage your death, which will be quite a blow to America's counter-espionage forces.
You think you'll escape?
Perhaps not. But it's a good bargain. Our lives for yours. Sorry, Mr. Harding.
Stay where you are, both of you.
All right, Peters. Just keep them covered. You've got 3 more shots, Miss Waters. Why not use them? They're blanks, too.
Blanks?
What is this?
Another example of American methods of crime deduction, Markov. Miss Waters, you were under suspicion from the moment you left our headquarters last night.
But why? I said nothing.
No, but your wounds did, as well as the bullets that were fired at you.
Our laboratory reports show that the bullets never entered your body. No traces of blood or flesh.
And the wound in your arm was parallel to the ground, not at an angle, as it would have been if you'd been shot climbing the steps of CounterSpy headquarters. That's why we decided to give you that gun and see how far you'd carry this.
Better not move. This gun isn't loaded with blanks.
Just move them in one direction, Peters. Out. We'll really show them the efficiency of our American methods in dealing with spies and saboteurs.
Tune in every Friday, same time, same station, to CounterSpy. Listen next Friday for the exciting Case of the Curious Conspiracy.
When certain short-sighted individuals took a long chance to obtain scarce war materials, your counterspies had to adopt very unusual methods of investigation. The full facts will be released next Friday in
Case of the Curious Conspiracy on CounterSpy. Tonight's CounterSpy program originated in New York, was directed by Leonard L. Bass, dramatized by Palmer Thompson, and featured Don McLaughlin and Mandel Kramer. CounterSpy is produced by Phillips H. Lord.
Three chimes mean good times on NBC. Tomorrow night, Dennis Day joins the battle against hoarding with some merry and nearly disastrous results. Judy Canova discovers 500 shares of supposedly worthless stock, which almost turn her into a millionaire. But millionaire or not, she's the same lovable Judy. The chimes tomorrow mean the Dennis Day Show and the Judy Canova Show and the Judy Canova Show and the Judy Canova...
Hey, man, how about we check in with Fibber, Magee, and Molly next? That sounds good to me.
And with Fibber, Magee, and Molly. evaporated milk, Pet Milk, presents Fibber, Magee, and Molly with Bill Thompson, Gail Gordon, Arthur Q. Bryan, Dick LeGrand, Myra Marsh, and me, Harlow Wilcox. The show is written by Don Quinn and Phil Leslie and directed by Max Hutto with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. Day after tomorrow in Galveston, Texas, 4 mighty pretty little girls will be celebrating their 12th birthday. Yes, the famous Badgett quadruplets of Galveston will be 12 years old on the 1st of February. And what a difference 12 years have made. When Joan, Joyce, Jeanette, and Geraldine were born, they were such tiny, delicate babies, their parents wondered whether all 4 would really live. But you should see them now. Happy, healthy, well-developed youngsters who have had almost from the day of their birth the nutritional benefits of Pet Milk, the first evaporated milk. And they're still getting Pet Milk. Now, it isn't surprising that the doctor approved Pet Milk for their feeding. After all, Pet Milk is safe. As safe in its sealed container as if there were no germ of disease in the world. Pet Milk is uniformly rich. Pet Milk is always easy for babies to digest. And everyone at Pet Milk Company is glad and proud to have had some part in making February 1st a very happy birthday for the Badgers. Mr. Magee of 79 Wistful Vista is a man with millions of ideas. And it's just as well that he has so many because only about 1 in a million is any good. Listen to the one he has now as we join Fibber, Magee, and Molly.
There I was, walking along, minding my own business.
When out of an orange-colored sky.
When out of an orange-colored... No. When all of a sudden I get this great idea. Rocked me right back on my heels, which are so worn down I would have fell over backwards if I hadn't been leaning against the window of the Third National Bank.
Why were you leaning against the bank window?
I was sore at old man McDonald, the president of it.
I don't get it.
Well, on the window it says Third National Bank. Assets, $65 million.
Yes?
Well, I'm just wide enough that when I lean a certain way against that window, I cover up the million and it says assets, $65. I really cheapen the joint. If I could gain 5 inches in the hips, I'd throw them into bankruptcy.
That's wonderful. Nobody who ever saw you in a bathing suit would accuse you of having $1 million figure. But, say, wait a minute. What was the great idea you had?
What idea? Oh, the idea. A skating party at Dugan's Lake.
A skating party at Dugan's Lake?
Yeah.
Why, Magee, that is a good idea.
Huh.
Just cold enough?
Yep.
Full moon?
Yep.
Why, that should be fun. Have you done anything about it?
Certainly. With me, to think is to act. Executive type. Quick decisions. Boom, 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 flash. I rushes over and sees Doc Gamble. Then I calls the trivia, Wilcox, the old-timer, and it's a firm deal. Everybody accepted. And Ole.
Well. Everybody's chipping in for the expenses, I presume.
No, sir. My party, kiddo. I owe all these guys, socially speaking, and this is my way to even things up. I got the car full of groceries, hot dogs, hamburgers, marshmallows, buns, and root beer. I got 6 pounds of butter, which I just put in the oven.
You put 6 pounds of butter in the oven?
Yeah, but I ain't going to light the oven till just before we leave. Then we can have hot buttered root beers all evening, you see. Oh, hey, I forgot to call Wally Wimple. Hand me the phone, will you?
Here.
Thanks. Hello, operator. Give me the residence of Wallace Wimple at 14th and... Oh, is that you, Mert?
Oh, dear.
How's every little thing, Mert? Tis, eh? What's say, Mert? You got pinched on your way to work this morning.
Heavenly days. What'd she do?
Oh, she put up a terrific holler.
Did it do any good?
Yeah. The guy blushed and left the elevator at the next floor. What say, Mert? Okay, I'll call later. Thanks, Mert. Now, let me see now. We'll need a lot of blankets, a couple of electric heaters.
What do we plug the heaters into at Dugan's Lake, a knothole in a tree?
Why, certainly not. Plug them into the cigarette lighter on the dash in the car.
Aha, remember we tried that once and set the car on fire?
Certainly, but this time I'm bringing a bucket of sand to throw on the fire. Oh, I thought of everything this time, kiddo. We can have the...
Come in.
Hi there, kids. Hello, children.
Well, for goodness sakes, Dr. Gamble and the old-timer. Come in, both of you.
Hi, fellas. Hey, Molly, these guys are riding out to Dugan's Lake with us. You all ready to go, gents?
If 2 suits of red flannels, 3 sweaters, earmuffs, and mittens preps me for this operation, I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Me too, Johnny. Can't wait to get out on that ice with my new skates. Spins, twirls, figure eights, jump over a barrel, somersaults, all kinds of fancy stuff.
Well, you must be quite a skater, Mr. Oldtimer.
Who knows, daughter? I'll try anything once.
Well, now, if you boys will excuse me, I'd better be making a couple of jugs of hot coffee and getting some blankets and things together.
You betcha, kiddo. You get the stuff together, and I'll handle the party from there on. Remember how I always used to manage these things back in Peoria? Out at Kickapoo Creek?
Sure she remembers. Look at her shudder. Look, Leatherhead.
What do you want, Doc?
He means me, old-timer. I'm the leatherhead.
Oh. Excuse me, Doc.
Well, I was just going to say that I have misgivings coming to this party.
Good. Bring her along, too. The more the merrier. Yes, sir. Bring her along. The trivia's bringing a date, too. You want to bring Bessie along, old-timer?
Oh, I'd like to, Johnny. But Bessie's in the hospital with a busted leg.
Oh.
She was skipper of a Mississippi riverboat last month and fell down a gangway. Being a southern girl and very modest.
I never heard of modesty breaking a leg. What happened?
Well, sir, she was standing on the bridge.
Yeah?
She just rung the engine room for reduced speed.
Yeah?
The passenger walks up and says, "Pardon me, Captain, but your ship is slowing." Bessie grabs at her skirt, dashes for the cabin, and falls down a gangway.
Coffee jug.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll open it. Billy Mills, the orchestra, and Lullaby on Broadway.
Isn't this beautiful out here? Bright moonlight, the ice just right for skating, and this wonderful fire.
Yeah. Hey, Wilcox, get some more wood over here, boy. The fire's dying down. Hey, you wimp, shag yourself around and get some wood. And Ollie, shake it up, boy. We need some wood. Ain't this jolly, Molly?
Very cheery, dearie.
Has it occurred to you, blabbermouth, to go get some wood yourself? Why don't you go out in the woods and let somebody else sit here in this log and be obnoxious?
Who, me? Why, I'm the hostess, Doc. How would it look if I deserted my guests and went dashing here, there, and everywhere?
It would look very pretty.
Well, my gosh, I'm throwing the party. I picked the spot, I lit the fire, Oh, attaboy, Ole, attaboy. Dump the firewood right on the pile there.
Heavenly days, look at all the wood.
You must have gone back to town and chopped down the high school, Ole.
Oh, I'm a good wood collector, Doctor. These woods is full of wood, but most of it is wood that's still trees.
Oh.
So I look through the woods till I find somebody's cabin with nobody home and a stack of firewood on the back porch.
My gosh, Ole, you steal wood off of somebody's back porch?
Oh, please, Magee, you think I'm a thief? No, sir. I used chopped off the back porch.
I brought some wood, too, Mr. McGee.
Well, good for you, Mr. Wimple. Just drop it on the pile over there.
All righty.
Isn't that wonderful? 2 feet of snow, and Wallace finds a pencil and 2 umbrella handles under it.
Now, you boys had better sit down here by the fire and relax.
Yeah, just as soon as you guys bring in a couple more loads, you better sit down and enjoy yourself. After all, we're out here to have fun, you know.
Well, I sit down and relax right now, McGee.
Huh?
If you want any more wood, you go steal it yourself. I'm just donating my time.
Oh, my. I wish Sweetie Face was here. Sweetie Face, that's my big old wife.
You really wish she was here, Mr. Wimple?
Yes. I'd like to skate out on the lake with her in the moonlight, hand in hand, way out in the middle past that big sign that says, no smoking.
What do you mean, no smoking? That sign says danger, 10 eyes.
I know, but Sweetie Face never wears her glasses when she skates. Well, I think I'll skate a little myself. Mr. Wilcox seems to be having so much fun out there. See you later, folks.
Goodbye, Mr. Wimple.
Go on, Wimp.
Come back for a hot dog after a while. I'm the pond master, you know.
I ought to get out and skate, too, but I'm too comfortable. That's quite a fire you got here, McGee, for an amateur pyromaniac.
What you mean, amateur? Why, my gosh, back in Peoria, I was always in charge of this stuff. Remember, Molly, them fires I used to build on the shore of the Kickapoo Creek?
Why, sure.
I sure built some beauties, didn't I?
Oh, you really did, dearie. I'll never forget the little one you built that night inside of old Tom McCrae's barn because it was so windy outside.
Oh, that one.
And the barn was full of hay and was next door to the refinery, which was full of gasoline, which was the night before you left for Canada, which was a very smart move.
And a fast one. If I hadn't left quick in a boxcar, I'd have been rode out of town on a fire hose.
You said...
That's me and the missus. That's before she was my missus.
Yeah.
We used to do plenty of skating in the old country, McGee.
Did you always build big fires, Ollie?
Missus, when Oldie Svensson went courting, fires was not needed. He raised temperatures and eyebrows for 60 miles around.
I bet you never had any skates like I got on, Ole. Hot sizes. Picked them up at a rummage sale for $1.50. Very cheap.
Oh, sure. We have sheep skates in Sweden, too. Hey, can you do what Holler Wilcox is doing out there, Ole? Look, he takes a long run and tries to leap over a pile of crates.
Yes, and he hasn't made it yet. He'll break his neck.
Oh, me and my missus, we do all trick stuff like that.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I kneel down on the ice and she jumps across me, and then she kneel down and I jump across her. Only this once I miss, and then did you ever notice a hole in my missus' neck? Like kind of like the sharp point of a skate. Then when we get tired, we race each other back to the sleigh, and nobody wins. Always a tie.
Neck and neck, eh?
Oh, sure, all the way home in the sleigh. Well, when it's cold, that's Oh, hey, here comes Harlow. Looks like he's giving up. Couldn't you make it, son?
Oh, no. No, I give up.
What are you trying to do, Junior? Kill yourself?
Oh, no. You see, pal, I've got 3 cases of pet evaporated milk stacked out there trying to jump over them. I keep falling down.
We saw you, Mr. Wilcox.
Gee whiz, it's no trick at all to jump over a barrel on ice skates, but pet milk is so wonderful, I just can't get over it.
Mr. Wilcox.
I don't get the connection, Mr. Wilcox. My missus uses pet milk, but she don't use it for yumping. We drink it in coffee.
Well, it's great in coffee, Ole. Hey, does your wife use pet milk for cooking, too?
No, for cooking, she uses a stove, Mr. Wilcox. It's a very small stove because my missus always likes a little oven. Oven, that is, a small one.
Yeah. Well, you see, when you use pet milk in cooking...
Hey, Molly, speaking of cooking, did you call the gas company about our range?
Oh, you think you got trouble with your range, McGee. You ought to see my daughter, Katrina.
She's the one who married the airline pilot, Ole, huh?
Oh, hey, speaking of airline pilots, above everything, they like good food.
Let Ole talk, Junior. He's more interesting.
And pet milk being a top-flight product, it's plain to see that I'm not giving you any prop wash when I say...
Please,
that,
Mr. Wilcox, don't be so rude to ladies. I'm talking about my daughter, Katrina.
Sure.
You know, the one who marries the airline fella? I go to her house last night, and all over the house it smells like gas.
Speaking of gas, I had a patient the other night that needed more anesthetic than we had on hand. It seems he was a radio announcer and spent so much time on the ether that...
Look, may I say a word here?
Certainly, Mr. Wilcox. What's the word?
Pet.
That's a very nice word, Junior, now that you said it.
Excuse me, may I finish?
You go ahead, Ollie. It smelled like gas at your daughter Katrina's house, the one she lives in with her husband, the airline pilot.
Thanks, Mercer. Well, I say, Katrina, what smells bad in here? And she says, Papa, my pilot light's out.
Oh?
And I say, it is? And she says, no, he does. My pilot light's out for Fort Worth, Texas this morning and leaves the gas stove turned on. So that's what I meant.
Ollie, that's very interesting. But to get back to your wife and her cooking, Ollie.
Yeah, I think I should. What time is it?
It's early, Ollie, and I'm sure that your wife, like millions of other good cooks, uses Pet's milk to add delicious, rich flavor to all her family dishes.
At our house, we don't flavor the dishes. We just flavor the food. Molly says if you can taste the plates...
Because Pet's milk, which is just good, whole milk concentrated to double richness, adds extra amounts of nourishing milk substances to your favorite recipes. And... Hey, is anybody listening to me? Well, then I'm going back and skate some more.
He's a nice boy. Who does he work for?
The pet milk people.
He used to be a wrestler, kind of a moan about town. Then he sold some kind of a floor preparation for a while, and then after that... Hey, Molly, how about skating with me?
Oh, I'd love to, dearie, but I can't just yet. I'm the hostess, and here comes Mayor Latrivia.
Oh, look, he's got a girl.
Oh,
Quite a dish, too.
Oh.
Must have a taffeta petticoat on. Listen to that Jane Russell.
Well, hello, Mr. Mayor.
Hello, everybody. Molly, gentlemen, and Magee. I'd like to introduce Miss Gwendolyn Flack. Gwen, this is Mrs. Magee.
How do you do, I'm sure, Miss Flack.
Mr. Swenson, Mr. Magee, and Dr. Gamble.
Well, please, lady.
Hi, sis.
Miss Flack, your arrival has added a great deal of charm to this occasion, which, except for the gracious presence of Mrs. Magee, was conspicuous by its absence, and which, at least for me, augments the beauty of the evening to a tremendous extent. May I help you put your skates on?
I'll help Miss Flack with her skates, Doctor.
She's a very pretty girl, Mr. Mayor.
Well, of course. Miss Flack was chosen queen of the salmon run at Tillamook, Oregon. That was in 1936. You're running again this year, aren't you, Gwendolyn?
Yes, fighting my way back upstream, as it were.
Yes, she's not only beautiful, she's talented. You know, nowadays beauty contests are not judged on looks alone. The prizes go to those who are not only pretty, but accomplished.
And what is your special accomplishment, my dear?
I'm a blackjack dealer.
In a gambling joint?
No, in the police station. When the detectives go out on duty, I hand them their blackjacks.
Come to think of it, I knew a blackjack dealer that dealt blackjack in the back of a snack shack in Hackensack. His name was Mac Black. Mac Black had dealt blackjack in Hackensack since way back. He had a knack for picking a blackjack from the back of the stack, but Mac Black got the sack for a fact when they caught him with a pack of cracked jacks stacked in the back of the snack shack in Ohio. What have you been doing, old-timer?
Oh, picking myself up mostly, Johnny.
Oh?
Been skating, but I spent so much time sitting down, I was, Oh, pretty girl. Who you with, honey?
She's with me. Miss Flack, may I present a character known to one and all, for want of more imagination on the part of our writers, as the old-timer?
Hello.
Girlie, let me help you with your skates.
I'll help you.
Let me,
No, I'll help you with yours, Molly.
I meant I'll help Miss Flag.
No. Let me hear. Gwendolyn, put your foot up.
Let go of my leg, Latrivia.
Oh, excuse me. I thought that was...
Here I am, Charles, over here. I thought you were helping me.
That was me, honey. I was right-handed, so I said, don't worry.
Come on, kiddo. Let's you and me get out of this. We ain't skated together yet tonight.
Wonderful. Come on. You know, I don't know if I can even stand up on these things.
Now, left, right.
Here we go.
Left, right, left, right. Ah, this is wonderful. Moonlight on Lake Dugan.
Yes. You know what I love about it?
What?
No mosquitoes.
Northward we go, out to Dugan Lake in the snow. Riding, riding, sailing, 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 northward
The King's Men and Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
What a delight when I think of the night that I met you on in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Oh, what a thrill was the thrill down the hill I set you on in Saskatchewan. This is the breeze of the break of the skis I would set you on in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I'd walk ahead while you rode on the sled I would set you on in Saskatchewan.
We might have it in the Alps.
Just like you see in the papers,
Risking a couple of scalps.
and cutting Canadian capers. It's going to be nice to get back to the ice I would catch you on in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I'll charter a plane or a honeymoon train that I'll get you on in Saskatchewan. Oh, it's 10 below. When you're in love. When you're in love, you feel as though it's 98 above and so. Away you go, across the paradise of ice and snow. We'll hibernate like a bear.
Sleep in a cave that I'll dig you.
We'll be a tropical pair and melt our Eskimo igloo. As soon as I've heard one affirmative word I can catch you on, I'll whisk you to Saskatchewan. I'll charter a plane or a honeymoon train and I'll snatch you on to snappy, silvery, sunny, sparkling Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Hey, anybody think we need more wood on that fire?
Fire's going great, McGee. Leave it alone. If it gets any hotter, it'll make the lake dry up.
Make the lake what, Mayor?
Dry up.
What's the matter, boy? Don't you like me?
Oh, don't be a
Another hot dog, anybody?
No thanks, Missus. Not for me. Already I have so many dogs I probably chase cats all the way home.
Hot dog, Miss Black?
No, thank you. I have to watch my figure, you know.
That should be easy, Miss Flack, with all these fellows helping you.
By the way, Miss Flack, or may I call you Gwendolyn?
You can call her Miss Black.
Take it easy, guys. Take it easy. Let's not have no rough stuff. This is strictly for fun, you know.
What were you going to ask me, Doctor?
Well, I was just going to ask you, Miss Flack, if you're elected Queen of the Salmon Run again, what are your plans?
I think I'll go up the river and pawn. My jewelry, so I can go to Hollywood.
Give me another hot buttered root beer, will you, Molly?
Here you are, dearie. Anybody else? Mr. Wilcox? Mr. Wilcox.
Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. I was helping Miss Flack take off her skates.
I helped her take them off a half hour ago.
You did? Well, what do you know?
Hey, ain't this fun? I sure know how and where to build a fire, don't I? I was always the one that was chose to do this back in Peoria, you know. I pick out the proper place. I personally send guys out for firewood. I arrange the...
I would like to propose a toast.
Oh.
Well, isn't that nice? Quiet, everybody. Mr. Wimple wants to give a toast. Here, have some more root beer first, Mr. Wimple.
Thank you.
Consider yourself plugged in, Toastmaster.
Shoot, Wimp.
All righty. Here's to the girl with the light brown hair. The one that's cooking hot dogs there. Mrs. Magee. May I have 3? I thank thee.
And now I would like to make a little toast.
Good. Here's a bun and a long fork, Mr. Mayor. Go right ahead.
No, I mean a toast that we can all drink.
You can't drink toast, boy, unless you dunk it in your root beer, and then it gets all soggy. I tried that a while ago.
No. I didn't mean actual toast. I mean a toast.
Well, you go right ahead, Mr. Mayor. If you want to eat toast while everybody else is making up silly poetry and stuff.
I don't want to make a silly toast for you. Well, look, when I said I wanted to make a little toast,
Oh, no. No, ladies and gentlemen, this is a real toast.
Yes, go ahead.
Go on, Your Honor. May I have another hot dog, please, Mrs. Magee?
To our host, Fibber Magee, a greatly misunderstood man.
Oh, sure.
To Fibber Magee, our host, who personally selected the site on which to build this magnificent bonfire, who is giving us this most enjoyable evening.
Well, I hope so.
Your friend and mine.
The ice is breaking up. McGee, you didn't build a fire on the shore. You built it on the ice.
Yeah. And you know what? All my fires used to do that back in Peoria, too. Everybody getting out on
Fibber and Molly return in a moment. Pet milk, the first evaporated milk, is the first choice of many doctors who want to be sure of giving their baby patients the right start in life. Excellent examples of such babies, in addition to the Badgetts, whom we mentioned earlier, are the Fultz quadruplets of Reidsville, North Carolina, the Hen quadruplets of Baltimore, the Collins quadruplets of the Bronx, New York, the Caspers of Passaic, New Jersey, and the Zarifs of New York City. All 24 of these famous babies were tiny and delicate at birth. All are sturdy, vigorous youngsters now. All were given pet milk shortly after birth. All are still thriving on this favored form of milk. Your grocer has pet milk. How about giving your children the benefits of this safe, easy-to-digest, uniformly rich milk? That's pet milk, the first food for millions of happy, healthy babies.
Boy, it sure feels good to get into some dry clothes, don't it,
Yes,
kiddo?
indeed. You know, it's amazing how well everybody took it, though, McGee.
Yeah.
Very philosophically. Nobody blew up at all.
Nope. No, they were just too wet to burn, I guess. Good night.
Good night, all.
The first evaporated milk, pet milk, brings you Fibber, McGee, and Molly each week at this time. Be with us again next Tuesday night, won't you? Who usually has the say-so about wedding plans? The bride, the groom, the bride's family? Well, whatever usually happens definitely does not happen in the story of the week next Saturday morning on Pet Milk's Mary Lee Taylor program. Be sure to hear this surprising story, together with Mary Lee Taylor's famous recipe for pancakes with sausage patties. Tune in next Saturday morning, sure, for the Mary Lee Taylor program on NBC.
Steve Wilson fights crime in Big Town, next on NBC.
Well, Silver, wait those thrilling days of yesteryear with the Lone Ranger up next.
Hail, Silver! Away! A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty Hi-Yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. his faithful Indian companion, Tonto, the masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early days of the western United States. His strength and courage were always on the side of right against might. No man could match his daring and resourcefulness, and nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days when the West was young, and the Lone Ranger was fighting the greatest battle of his entire career. As dawn was breaking, a small band of hard-faced, hard-riding men pushed deep into the tangled wilds of barren hills that barred their way to the Rio Grande. Finally, when their leader saw that he could go no farther, he raised his arm and shouted a command.
Hold up! Hold up, hold up, hold up. Dirk, you think we lost them? You think we rode far enough?
Can't ride no farther. Look at the horses. Get down. Won't have to hobble these critters. They won't stray.
You camping here, Dirk?
Yeah, we can go on. Fellas, if we ever had rotten luck, we had it last night. Planned to wreck that eastbound train and get fooled into thinking the wreck had happened when it hadn't.
Just so we'd show ourselves.
Yeah, with Tonto and Arizona and all them railroad fellas laying for us. They got the Buzzard, Nolan, and over half the rest. I'm telling you something. If it hadn't been so dark, wouldn't none of us got away.
I ain't giving Arizona or Tonto any credit for it, though. No, and Graham weren't slick enough to trap us like that, neither.
Only one feller to blame. The masked man.
Yeah, the Lone Ranger. He learned what we schemed.
You're right. It was a masked man. Said so themselves.
Yeah.
But there's something funny about it, fellas.
Huh? What?
For some reason or other, that masked hombre ain't letting his pard see him. And it's that we're going to use to pay them coyotes back.
What do you mean, Dirk?
You got a good horse, ain't you?
Sure. When he's rested.
Hey, he'll get rest. When he's ready, do you figure you could ride and bring Pawnee Pete to our hideout, say, inside a week or 10 days?
I guess so.
With that horse of his he calls Frosty?
Sure. But what for?
When I'm all set, I'll tell you. You just follow orders, that's all. All right, fellas. Find yourselves a place to sleep where the sun won't hit you, and tonight we'll push on.
When night came, most of the outlaw band rode on toward the Rio Grande, but one of them headed for the Badlands to the north and west. At the end of 5 days, he reached his destination, a rocky canyon in the middle of the desert that led to a small green valley. It was there that Pawnee Pete had made his camp, and when he received Dirk's message...
Dirk knows I'm wanted. I'm taking a chance if I leave here.
I know that, but he needs your help, and you can't let him down.
Who says I can't? Saving my skin is mighty important to me, and I'm not leaving here unless I get a good reason.
You want to hole up in this desert for the rest of your life?
Arizona and Tonto won't stay around Spanish Flats for long.
They swore they wouldn't leave till every one of us was behind bars.
They'll get tired waiting for me.
Is that all you got to say?
Yeah. You made the trip for nothing, Joe.
Well, I guess maybe you wouldn't have had the nerve to go through with it anyway.
Go through with what?
Dirk's plan.
I thought you didn't know what it was.
I don't exactly, but I got a hunch that it'll take nerve.
I got as much as anybody in the gang.
And then another thing, you aren't big enough.
Why, you little...
Sure, you're big enough to beat up on me, but that won't get you nothing. Take it easy, Pete.
What are you driving at?
I'm just comparing you with somebody else. He's a good 2 inches taller and broader across the shoulders. And that horse of yours isn't as good as his. Frosty runs about 16 hands, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The other one's bigger.
I only heard of one horse. It's bigger than Frosty.
Maybe that's the one.
Come on, Joe. What's your hunch about Dirk's plan? Let's have it.
You ain't interested. You're going to stay here and be safe.
Let's have it.
Well, it's easy to figure out that Arizona and the Indian couldn't do much without the masked man's help.
Well?
Nor Graham, nor the sheriff and his posse either.
What about it? He's helping him, ain't he? You told me how he set that trap.
Yeah, but there's something else Dirk noticed.
What?
They ain't working together. That way there's apt to be misunderstandings. Now, if one of us was big enough and had enough...
Never mind that.
And if one of us owned a horse that was anywhere near as good as Silver...
Frosty could get by.
Think so?
I'd wear a mask, wouldn't I?
You'd have to.
The Lone Ranger.
Changed your mind any?
All the way. We ride for the Rio in the morning.
It was almost a week later that Arizona Lawson and Tonto, with Arizona's dog Wolf at their heels, rode slowly along a trail to the east of Spanish Flats.
Well, Tonto, I'm here to admit I'm just about beat. Where in thunder can the masked man be?
We not find him.
He could be camping somewhere in them hills along the Rio, of course. Well, we've searched all the likely places. And if we tried to cover all that territory, it'd take us from now till I could raise a long gray beard. Funniest thing is, this trip we just made to the mission. I thought for sure we'd find the Padre was back there.
Him not.
Yeah, nobody around the place even had word from him. You know what that makes me think might be possible, Tonto?
What that?
Well, after getting that silver bullet from the Lone Ranger that time, we can bet chips he's up and around. But it could be that even so, he ain't feeling any too fit yet. That'd explain the Padre still staying with him.
That's right.
I think so. But doggone if it explains why he won't let us know where he is. Or why he don't come back and work right along with us.
Him help, though.
Help? I should smile he has. Ask some of them crooks that are sitting in jail right now if he ain't. They'd tell you. And Tonto, you take it from me, he's planning to go right on helping. Till the last of them polecats is jailed or hung. And what's more, he won't stop till he's located that gent behind him.
That's right.
That outlaw leader's slick to keep himself hid the way he has. But we'll smoke him out, all right. And slick as he is, it ain't been enough to keep his luck from running right bad of late. Nope. As far as we're concerned, things have been going all right. And what in the...
Them shots?
Close, too. I'd say they come from somewhere just around that bend. Come on. Quiet, Wolf. Get up. Get up there.
Get him up, Scout. Get him up, fella.
Hurry, fella. Hurry there.
Get him up.
Hey, look. That's a ranch house back in there. And them fellas outside. Doggone, they've seen us. They're taken to the saddle.
Them leave.
Hightailing like all get out. Come on, fella. Come on.
Get him up. We chase them.
Better not. Too many of them. They're set for us. Better pull up at the ranch house here first and find out what's happened. Maybe we're needed.
That's right.
Ho, fella. Ho. Inside.
Stop right where you are.
What? Hey, don't you aim that rifle at me.
Put down gun.
Don't you dare come closer. Don't you dare.
Stop it, boy. Miss, we're friends.
I'll shoot. I swear I will.
We ain't crooks.
Get back.
We just heard the firing and come a-running because we thought we was needed.
I don't believe you. Stop right where you are.
Now, miss, you know you don't mean to pull that trigger.
Stop.
Wolf. Why, Wolf, is that any way to talk to a lady? You shut up. She ain't going to harm us none. She just thinks she is. Now, miss.
Wolf? Did you call that dog Wolf?
Why, sure.
Then you must be...
Arizona Lawson, miss. At your service.
And you're Tonto. Oh, and I thought
that we was crooks. Sure, we savvy. But now that you know better, you mind explaining what all this ruckus was about?
But I'm Molly Fletcher.
Uh-huh.
You saw those men riding away?
Sure did.
They were after my father's money.
They got it?
No.
Good.
But they fired those shots you heard to frighten me into telling where it was hidden.
Polecats. You tell?
I couldn't.
Huh?
Because I don't know myself, but they wouldn't believe me.
Now, miss, you're saying that just because you don't trust us.
But I'm not. Really, I'm not. I'd give anything to know, but I really don't.
And it's funny them crooks would waste time scaring you when they could be getting after your paw.
You don't understand.
Miss, I reckon I don't.
Well, my father's in Houston. He's very ill.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Of course, you know about all the holdups there have been in the district.
Well, we ought to.
Well, that's why Father hid his money. But now he's away, and I can't get word to him in time, and I just have to find where that money is.
Yeah?
You see, Father borrowed money from the bank in Spanish Flats with our ranch for security. And the money has to be paid back in 8 days or we'll lose everything. But I can't find it to pay it. Oh, I don't know why I'm bothering you, though.
It ain't no bother. Maybe we can help.
That's kind of you, but you couldn't.
Well, let's see now. Let's get this straight. First off, them crooks who was just here know about the cash. So far as they're concerned, your not being able to tell them where it is a good thing.
Yeah.
But far as the bank is concerned, it ain't. because the bank has to be paid.
Oh, it must be.
Now, you sure your pa never said anything that'd give you a hint what he done with the cash?
Not one word.
That's funny. You'd have thought he'd have done something to make sure that cash went to you in case anything happened to him.
Oh, he did.
Yeah?
He told Manuel. But I haven't any idea how to find him, and I just can't wait until he gets back.
Gets back? Where is he?
Manuel just shows up once a year in the fall. The rest of the time, he wanders around the country doing odd jobs. I suppose you think it's strange Father would tell Manuel about a thing like that, but not me.
Well, it is kind of, ain't it?
No. Father was afraid of just what's happened, that someone might try to force me to tell.
Uh-huh.
And Manuel's fine. Father would have trusted him with anything. And he knew Manuel would always come here to the ranch every year, so sooner or later he could tell me where the money is. It's just that Father never thought that the money would be needed in just this way.
What's this Manuel hombre look like?
Why?
Tonto and me are hunting him up.
You'd do that for me?
It's your only chance, miss. We know your pa can't be reached in time, but maybe this other gent can.
If you found him, Arizona, you don't know how grateful I'd be.
We'd be glad to help you anyhow, Miss Molly.
Yes?
But more than that, it's a chance to put a spoke in the schemes of them skunks we've been fighting. Now, you tell us what Manuel looks like and where he's most likely to be.
Get up there!
One of the outlaws had watched Arizona and Tonto as they entered the Fletcher ranch house. Then, dismounting, they had approached close enough to overhear their conversation with Molly through an open window. When Arizona announced his determination to find Manuel, the outlaw returned to his horse, mounted, and raced for the gang's hideout. Half an hour later...
Dirt! Hi, Dirt! Whoa there!
Where in the thickets you been?
Now, don't get mad, Dirt.
You.
Didn't you want a chance to trap Arizona and that redskin Tonto?
You know doggone well I do.
Then quit getting so mad. Listen to what I just heard over to the Fletcher place.
Arizona and Tonto began their search for Manuel. They rode throughout the district and made countless inquiries, but nowhere could they find any information. Finally...
Nothing doing here, Tonto.
What him say?
Ain't seen Manuel over a year. Doesn't think anybody else around here has either, or they'd have mentioned it. Well, the only thing to do now is to push on south. Maybe he's crossed the border, or...
What matter?
Tonto, am I seeing things, or do you see what I do?
What that?
Look there, high up on that ridge there, again the sky. See him?
It's horseman.
Yeah, and that's a powerful big horse he's sitting on. And from here, that horse looks to be pure white. There, look, he's waving.
Me see him.
Silver.
It's Masked Man.
Lone Ranger.
We follow him.
No, Tonto, hold on.
What?
Tonto, he don't want to see us.
Me not savvy.
If he did, would he go racing away from us like that?
That's right.
But he had some reason for letting us get a look at him. And I'll bet you I know what that reason was.
What that?
Wait and see if I ain't right. How's the best way for us to get up there where he was?
Ride round that way.
And Tonto, let's go. Get up, fella. Get along there.
Get him up, Scout. Get him up. Get him up.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger drama. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue our story. Tonto and Arizona raced toward the ridge where they had seen the masked man mounted on a pure white horse. When they had reached its crest...
Scout.
There.
Scout.
Now, wasn't he right about here when we seen him, Tonto?
That's right.
Then, I was right. There, again, that tree. Come on.
It's message.
Stuck again the trunk of this tree, where he knew we'd be sure to find it. Don't you see now what he was up to, Tonto? He stood here with Silver till he was sure we'd seen him. And he cleared out knowing we'd come up here after him. Tonto, no matter what his reason is for staying away, you gotta hand it to him. That masked man's smart.
What paper say?
Just a second. Tonto?
How
the masked man finds out things I'll never know.
What him find out?
Somehow he learns we're looking for that Mexican.
Oh?
And here, he tells us how to find him. Well, Tonto, let's travel.
Where we go?
South of the Rio. Get up, fella. Get up.
Get up. Now, get him up, fella.
Back already, Pete?
Just got here.
Arizona and Tonto?
They felt just like you said they would. I waited till I seen him cross to this side of the border, then I come ahead.
Get before behind you then, huh?
30, 40 minutes, maybe.
So hide your horse. Then find Jake and Bat and tell them I want to see him. Tell them to hurry.
Where'll you be?
Here in the back room.
That must be the place, Tonto. Better pull up. Oh, boy.
Oh, fella.
Coming inside with me?
You come.
Tough-looking place.
It's plenty tough.
Wonder what an old fella like this here Manuel be doing here.
Me not know.
Well, we'll find him and get out as fast as we can.
Hi, stranger.
Huh? Oh, howdy.
You the redskin?
Oh.
Say, you a Texan?
Huh? Me? Sure, why?
Just asked to see if I was right. If I find one this side of the border, I can tell him every time. Any of my business what brought you here?
You acquainted in this place?
Yeah, pretty well.
And maybe you can tell us something we want to find out.
Glad to oblige if you can.
Know a fella called Manuel? Don't know his last name, but he's a little fella, getting along in years. Spends a lot of his time north of the border doing odd jobs for ranchers there.
Well, I should smile I know him.
We heard this is where we'd find him.
Hey, he's here right now.
Yeah? Can we see him?
Sure. You see that door?
Yeah.
We'll open it up and walk right in. That's the back room.
Thank you kindly, stranger. Come along, Tonto.
Open the door! What has happened? Smash the door open! Come on, break it in! Dirk shot those two fellas. It was in self-defense. I heard him say they was out to get him. Come on. Break open that door. All right, let me through. Dirk, how did it happen? What? Well, I'll be empty. There ain't a man in this room.
What? Hey, Jake. Jake, wake up.
Where?
Come on, wake up.
Don't cut it out. Oh, my head.
It's me, Jake. It's Dirk. Sit up.
Where are we?
Don't ask me.
What happened?
Well, that's what we got to figure out.
I don't want to figure anything. My head feels like it's ready to bust wide open.
You can't feel no worse than I do. Splash some water on your face. Maybe that'll make you feel better.
Water?
Sure. I was laying with your head almost in the river, you idiot.
Just a second. It feels good.
All right, let me get some.
I ain't stopping you. River. Hey, this the Rio?
What else would it be?
But how in the dickens did we get here?
I ain't got any idea. The last thing I can remember...
Huh?
Hurts even to think. Now, let's see. We was in the back room of the cabaret waiting for Arizona and Tonto, weren't we?
Sure, I can remember that. They come in, too.
Did they?
Don't you remember?
Well, sure, now I do. But then what?
We had our guns all ready to drill 'em.
They beat us to the draw?
No, weren't that.
Then what happened?
Let me alone, and I'll piece it out. It has something to do with the window. And now I got it. We was just ready to shoot when somebody outside that window shot the guns from our hands, then fired again and busted the lamp. Now I remember it plain.
It's coming back now. There's something else. Something else.
Huh?
At least I think there is.
What are you talking about?
Was something I heard somebody yell right afterwards. I wish I could place what it was. Seems like it was right important. Just before everything went black. Oh, I got a bump atop my head the size of a hen's egg.
So why?
Somebody must have hit us some awful whacks.
Yeah, and whoever he was, I got a good notion it was that same hombre fired from outside. And I'll bet it was him brought us here.
Yeah, maybe. If I ever find that feller, I'll break every... I got it!
What? Get up, hurry, doggone it. I've just remembered what it was I heard that hombre yell.
What was it?
He said get to their hideout and pick up that cash before they come to.
What, cash? Hideout?
Our camp in the hills, you idiot. That fellow was talking about the cash we got on them holdups. The cash we buried under them rocks.
And they're after it now?
Well, could it mean anything else? Come on, there's our horses. Help me round them up.
All right.
Hurry on. Get over there. All right, now get him over there. All right, get him tight now.
They're getting set to go someplace, Tonto. And I reckon they'll head straight for where the Lone Ranger figured they would.
That's right.
You think you can handle your end of this alone? I can help you, if you think I should.
You get Lawman.
Well...
You not worry about Tonto.
If you say so, all right. But there's one thing you don't want to forget.
What that?
No matter how bad wanted those fellas are, the law can't lay a hand on them as long as they're on this side of the border. Somehow they've got to be tricked into crossing over again.
Me take care of that.
Got it figured out how? Hold it. They're getting in the saddle.
Me see him.
I reckon this is where you and me separate for a while. There they go.
Me follow him.
Adios, then, pard. And you be careful.
Get him up, Scout. Get him up, pard.
Gone, Redskin. Except for the masked man, he's got more nerve than any dozen men I know. Well, boy, let you and me travel. Get up. Get up. Get along, fella. Hurry.
Jake, that's the place there.
Yeah.
Whoa, fella boy.
Whoa there. Whoa. Doggone it. Whoa.
Maybe we beat him here.
I'm hoping so.
Well, it don't look like this rock's been moved. Come on, give me a hand with it to make sure.
Come on.
There. Safe. Ain't been touched. We got here first.
Then we better grab it.
What the?
It's Tonto.
You move, Tonto, shoot.
Hey, he's grabbing your cash box.
Blast you. Sit still. Here, Scout. Me take cash. You not follow. Get him up, Scout. Get him up. Shoot that engine down. Miss, he's behind cover.
You going to let him get away with that?
Not if we can help it. Steady, boy. After him.
Get up there.
Get up, boy. Get on there. Get up, boy. Get up there. Get up there. Hey, this way, Jake. You can't cross the river there. It's full of quicksand.
Go ahead. I'm with you.
The engine's across the other side already. Get up, boy. Get up there. Get along, boy. Get up there.
There he goes.
Heading for the Fletcher place, by thunder.
Right.
If he's figuring to take cover there, that's just what we want. Ain't nobody on the place but the girl. Get up, boy. Get up there. Get up there, boy. Get up along. Get up there.
Oh, there. Oh, I see him. He's inside.
Yeah, keep out of range of the windows. Come on. I'll get close up against the wall. We know you're in there, Ensign. Come out with your hands in the air. We're coming in after you.
And if we do that, you ain't going to get off so easy.
You coming out?
Well, he's asking for it, Jake. Inside and let him have it.
Drop. There he is. Keep down.
Give it to him.
Put it up, Ted. You're covered. What the? Where'd you fellas come from?
The sheriff in Arizona.
You two can get up off the floor now. Ain't doing yourselves no good down there.
You.
Arizona and me, we've been waiting here kind of hoping Tonto could persuade you to drop in. Thanks a lot. If you'd have stayed the other side of the border, I'd have never been able to touch you.
Tricks.
That engine's got our cash.
Hear that, Sheriff? Two of the worst crooks in the county yelling they've been held up.
Which same will get 'em nowhere. We're going to town, boys. Mort!
Wait.
Mort!
Well, Tonto, there's a couple of more skunks we can check off our list. Miss Molly?
Arizona, this money Tonto gave me, I'm sure it's not the money Father hid.
Now, you wait.
But Arizona...
We ain't going to explain too much about where that cash come from. Because the less you know about it, the better. Now, I'm going to tell you what you do. Take what cash you need for the bank, Miss Molly, and the rest you can turn over to the sheriff later on.
But the money I take, I can't keep it.
You won't have to.
But don't
Your Paul will be getting better afore long and coming home. And he can take his cash and give it to the sheriff for what you borrowed.
Oh.
And then I reckon that'll fix things up just fine.
Oh, Arizona, you and Tonto have been wonderful.
Miss, when somebody like you says something like that, I just ain't got the heart to deny it. But I'm going to be honest with you.
Yes?
Tonto and me done all right. But there's another fella deserving thanks even more.
Who, Arizona?
The Lone Ranger.
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.
Hunt the biggest of all game with the Green Hornet and Cato coming up next.
Michael Axford had a desk in the same office with Britt Reed's secretary, Miss Case. He was sitting there at ease when Miss Case came in.
Oh, hello, Casey. Axford, take your feet off that desk. Has Mr. Reed come in yet?
No, it ain't likely he'll be down till late this afternoon sometime. He was going to the Civic Club for lunch.
The one place you can't follow him. I'd live there if I were he.
Did you see the story about the prince?
The prince?
Yeah, an Oriental guy of some sort. Named Prince Yarpur.
Oh, Mr. Reed won't publish stories about face like that.
I don't blame him. It burns me up to think of all the society dames that paid money to talk to a lug like that.
Hey, how did you know about that story?
Why, you saw it on your desk.
Oh, snooping, huh?
Now, I'll have you know I don't snoop. He was laying there in plain sight, and I saw his picture with that flat towel wrapped around his head and looked to see what it was all about. That's all.
Huh.
Hey, I wonder what he looks like without that thing on his head.
I wouldn't know.
Do you think he's bald?
I don't know.
Maybe that's why he wears it.
Michael, I want to ask you something.
Huh? Well, go ahead, youngster.
Who is Jonathan Derrick?
Derrick? Silver Snake. Where'd you meet that guy?
You know him?
There ain't a cop or G-man in this part of the country that don't know him. Why?
Well, who is he?
No, let me think a minute. I want to get this straight. He's a ruthless blackmailer that's left a trail of ruined lives behind him wherever he went.
Huh?
I read that somewhere. All I know is that he has a record a mile long and that he's caused some suicides. He should have been put behind the bars years ago, but there never is anyone that'll testify against him. Where did you hear about Derrick?
Oh, I'm surprised you didn't see this note on my desk. Mr. Reed wants information about him.
Well, why didn't Britt ask me? I could have told him plenty.
Was Derek in town?
Yeah, he lives here. Someday, someone is going to pay him off with a bullet instead of with cash. Mark my words.
You'll mark your desk if you don't take your feet off it.
No, I won't. That's why I got the glass top on it. I wonder why Reed wants to lower down on Derek.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, Mr. Reed.
I thought you were going to the Civic Club, Reed.
A little later, Axford. On this case, have you anything to report on Jacour?
Plenty, Mr. Reed. I went to see that phony prince.
Hey, Kathy, you didn't tell me.
Alfred, must I tell you everything?
Now, go on this case. Did you find out anything?
Yes, Mr. Reed. He's a fake, all right. I had an appointment with him this noon. The place was full of prominent women, all waiting to see him.
Well, just how does he operate in this case?
Well, he preaches self-expression, individuality. He urges women to develop their ego, to assert themselves, and to prepare their soul for greater things.
Holy crow. Go on.
And women like Mrs. Henry Mason just love it.
Mrs. Mason? Hey, her husband's a big shot.
She believes what Jacour tells her?
Mr. Reed, he practically hypnotizes women like Mrs. Mason. He gets them talking, and they tell him anything he wants to know. Not only about their own business, but about their husbands.
He could make a lot of trouble.
Yes, he's dangerous, Mr. Reed.
He's worse than a swoon cloner.
Well, come into my office in this case. I want you to tell me all you know about this fellow. He might bear investigating. While Britt Reed learned about Lenore Case's interview with Prince Jacour, Jonathan Derrick sat in the office of Henry Mason.
Please be brief, Mr. Derrick. I have a luncheon appointment at the Civic Club.
I'll get right to the point, Mason. Certain blocks of real estate are being bought up outside the city.
Indeed?
The owners have no idea who the real buyers of the land might be. If they knew that you and two other gentlemen were buying the land to resell to the city for an airport, the prices would go sky high.
Where did you get such an idea?
I'm certain of my facts. I'll give you 2 days to think it over. Decide how much you can afford to pay to salvage your plans.
Granting that you're correct, what is your proposition?
Well, you think it over for 2 days, and I'll do the same. Well, naturally, I can benefit financially by taking my information to the people from whom you'll buy the land. It would interest them to know that you must have that land at any price. However, I'm going to give you the first opportunity to bid. If the proposition you make suits me, I'll go no further.
Derrick, I'll pay you $1,000 cash right now. You'll tell me how you got your information.
My dear Mr. Mason, I must protect my sources of...
2,000. There's a leak in my office.
I'm sorry.
Just a moment.
Yes?
I have 3,000 in cash in this office right now. It's yours if you tell me where you learned of this.
All right, Mason. I'll buy it. Where's the cash?
Right here. Who told you about my plans?
The Green Hornet.
Green Hornet?
Thanks for the 3,000. And now I leave, so you can keep your appointment at the Civic Club.
Mason, you say this man Derrick came to you just before you left your office.
Yes, Fred.
Well, then you could hardly have known his intentions when you phoned and asked me to meet you here at the club for luncheon.
No, I didn't know about Derrick at the time I called you. I wanted to meet you and tell you what Hendricks, Fletcher, and I were doing.
Buying up the real estate?
Yes.
So, why did you want to let me in on your plans?
Because I thought it wise to deal with you just as I did with your father when he ran the Daily Sentinel.
Oh,
I was always perfectly frank with him. He knew that I gave him the straight facts. The point is simply this. We, the three of us, are buying up land that is to be used for an airport. We're doing it simply because this city needs an airport. Needs it badly.
That's very true.
On several occasions, a site has been considered. In every other case, the owners of the property learned about it and the prices of the land went up. The cost of the land became prohibitive. Condemnation proceedings would be too long drawn out and costly. sites under consideration had to be rejected.
I see.
In this case, we three thought we'd secure the land before any news of the site leaked out. In that way, we could make it available to the city at a price within reason.
Then you three are motivated by civic interest?
Precisely.
Not by a desire to make a profit.
Reed, did you say profit? The three of us are in the 80% tax bracket. How could we make a profit? No, I wanted you to know what we were doing because I thought you might get distorted facts and publish something that would spoil everything.
I appreciate your frankness, Mason. Have you told anyone else?
No.
Then how did this fellow Derek learn that you were buying up that land?
He says he got his information from the Green Hornet.
What?
It cost me $3,000 to learn that. And having learned it, I know nothing.
The Green Hornet's been in headlines. Perhaps Derek named him just to get your $3,000.
I don't know. The fact is, Derek knew my plans. I'd give anything to know how he got them.
Do you think Fletcher or Hendricks told anyone?
No, those men are too smart. They've spent a lifetime learning the importance of a silent tongue.
Mason, did you tell your wife what you were doing?
Yes, I tell her everything. Oh, well, she wouldn't talk. Why, good heavens, she's known about my affairs for 30 years. She's never divulged a thing. She'd hardly start at this late date.
Do you think you'll have to pay Derek off?
I'll have to. Much as I hate to be the victim of extortion, I'll have to do it.
You're not the first of Jonathan Derrick's victims. And unless something is done, you'll not be the last. Too bad someone can't fight that crook with sharp weapons.
Sharp weapons? What do you mean?
People who fight him have nothing but the law with which to fight.
Oh.
And against a man like Derrick, the law doesn't have sharp enough teeth. In fact, he uses the law as protective armor. Reed spent the rest of the day quietly gathering facts about Jonathan Derrick. Facts that could be used to fight the crook by the Green Hornet. That evening, he called his valet, Cato, to his bedroom. Tonight, we're going to check on a few facts, Cato, and see if my supposition is correct.
Yes, Mr. Britt.
There's one way this man Derrick might have learned of Mason's activities. That is, through Japur.
You think they're acquainted?
At least acquainted. You see, Cato, I'm the only one who knows that Derrick lied to Mason when he said his information came from the Green Hornet.
Yes, sir.
I have the addresses of both Derrick and Jarper. They live near each other. I'm going to try to find out if they're working together.
You would want the Black Beauty tonight?
Yes, Cato.
A mask and gas weapons?
Tonight, I also want a real weapon. I'm taking a .38 revolver. Stepping through a secret panel in the rear of the closet in his bedroom, Britt Reed and Cato went along a narrow passageway built within the walls of the apartment itself. This passageway led to an adjoining building which fronted on a dark side street. Though supposedly abandoned, this building served as the hiding place for the sleek, superpowered Black Beauty, streamlined car of the Green Hornet. Britt Reed pressed a button. The great car roared into life. A section of the wall in front raised automatically, then closed as the gleaming Black Beauty sped into the darkness. A clock in a steeple near Jonathan Derrick's home struck 10 as the Green Hornet and Cato approached a rear window.
The window is locked?
I'll know in a second. Yes, it seems to be. We try other windows? No. Give me that thin piece of steel.
Oh, yes, sir.
This is just a standard latch. I think I can force it. There. Unlocked. I'll open the window. Just a couple of inches. Yeah, that'll do. I just need room enough to get my hand on the gun inside.
You have guns?
Yes. Get ready to travel, Cato. Now, get to the car. That should start something. Likely. Here we are. In with you. Right over, I'll drive.
Now where?
Now we're keeping a point here with Prince Japur. seeks admittance awaits outside. Go, Abdul, and pass this stranger through the portal.
That's the guy that made that 10 o'clock date with him, boss.
Shut up, you moron. Let him in and don't talk. You give yourself away.
Okay. Hope we don't stay long. I want to get out of this outfit. Back up, Chris. Man, come back into the house. I want to talk to your boss. The Hornet.
You are the one who called a few moments ago to see if I would give an interview?
I called to make sure you were here. Now listen to me. There was a shooting tonight. Just a few minutes ago.
A shooting?
Yes. Someone fired a shot in the rear window of Jonathan Derrick's home. I don't know whether he got Derrick or not.
Who is this assassin?
I'm not telling any more until I know what's in it for me.
My friend,
I'm not your friend, Jarpour. Tell your man here to forget any idea he has of reaching for a gun.
Abdul would do no harm, Sahib. You misjudged him.
Why, you?
Sahib.
I should have said a gun or a knife.
Your post, Abdul.
He'll come through in a few minutes. Now, Jarpour, if you have any tricks, get through with them so we can talk business.
It is hard, Sahib.
Shall we continue our talk where we left off?
Why do you think I'd buy information?
Don't stall, Jarpour. I know you and your game.
I do not understand.
Yes, you do. If there's a murder, it would be worth a lot for you to know the killer's name.
I do not see how.
Jonathan Derrick planned to collect from a certain man for keeping a secret. This man would pay a lot more to save himself from a murder rap than he would to save a real estate investment.
Why, then, do you not act? Why do you come to me? I am a student of the philosophy and teaching of the Far East. I am Prince Jaipur.
That's all right to tell your customers, but I know you're running a blackmail and extortion game.
I'm not interested in your proposition, my friend with the green mask. Good evening. May the peace of Allah abide with you. Stella.
Suit yourself. We may meet again sometime. All right, Cato. We'll wait here and watch. Jarpour is working with Derrick. He'll make a beeline to Derrick's place to see how badly he's been hurt. There's no way Jarpour could see us from his place while we wait here, is there?
Well, no, sir.
I thought he'd be coming from the house at once. I'm sure he and Derrick are partners.
What if they are partners?
That's the case. We can find a way to discredit Jarpour and get rid of Derrick.
Look.
There he goes. Good. I'm going to follow him and hear what he and Derrick say. Michael Expert, as usual, was in police headquarters with his friend Sergeant Burke. When the phone rang, Burke thought it a routine call until he heard the voice at the other end identify himself.
What's that name? You say you're Jonathan Derrick? Holy crow, that guy ain't got the nerve to say it himself. What's that, Derrick? Him calling the cops.
Murder, you? Be right there. What's that about a murder?
Come on, Expert. Joe, take the board. I gotta go.
Where are we going?
Derrick's house. He says someone's trying to murder him.
The following morning, Axford came into the office in a high state of excitement.
Cassie! Don't slam it! Oh, there you go again.
But I got news. It was last night.
What was last night?
That guy we talked about yesterday, Jonathan Derrick. By golly, he got it.
Oh, I read something about that. Did you learn anything new at police headquarters?
Where's he? I gotta see him.
He's in his office, and you don't have to see him. He's busy.
Busy or not, he'll want to hear about
Mason is with him.
I know, but
Mr. Mason just got here, and they're in concert. And you keep out of there.
Please.
What's the matter?
Please. Something about that guy Derrick.
Do you know Mr. Mason, actually?
It's glad I am to meet you, Mason.
How do you do?
I just came from cops headquarters, Reed. And you know the cops had a mysterious phone call during the night?
Yes. They heard Derrick saying that he was about to be murdered. They rushed to his place, found signs of a struggle, a bullet hole in the wall, and no sign of Derrick.
Yeah.
Lord. But that was all in the first edition. What have you to add?
One of the squad cars saw the Green Hornet car in that neighborhood last night about the time of the phone call.
Yes?
There was a guy named Lambert that was sort of a house man for Derrick. And he said he saw the Green Hornet leaving the place.
Indeed.
So the Green Hornet is being hunted for the murder.
What murder?
Derrick!
Have they found the corpus delicti?
You mean the cadaver? No, they ain't. Not yet.
Then how do they know there's a murder?
The cadaver must have been done away with. That's the only way I can see it. Once it'll turn up, the chances are. Should I write up a story about the Green Hornet?
Write one. And then let me check it. Now, please close the door.
Oh,
Oh, golly, I forgot the door. And there's Casey listening to the whole thing.
From the outside.
Oh. All right.
Oh, Lord. Brett, do you see where this puts me?
Well, not exactly, Mason. You didn't kill Derek, did you?
Heavens, no, but I'll be questioned if it's known that he came to me. I have no alibi for last night. I was home alone, but I can't prove it.
I understand.
But if the facts come out, I'll certainly be held. And that would ruin me.
Why should the facts come out?
Well, that's why I came to you. This man my wife calls on, Japur.
Yes?
He called me on the phone. He said that I should see him today. He said he would be able to help me remain a free man.
Oh, he can, eh?
He must know of what happened last night.
What time are you going to call on him?
This evening.
What time?
Oh, about 9 o'clock.
Well, let me know what he says.
Brett, would you like to go with me?
No, Mason. You go alone. Let me know what happened. A few hours later, Axford's story about the Green Hornet was in the paper.
Shut the electric, Green Hornet at large. Here you are, sir. Shut the writer charges Hornet with murder. Here you are, lady. Read all about it. Shut the electric, Sentinel Writer. By golly, that's me, Reed. Sentinel Writer charges Hornet with murder.
Axford, why don't you put the paper down and finish your dinner?
You know, Reed, when I see something like this in print, I wonder how he could write so smooth.
A few revisions were made in your story.
Hey, Cato, who was it at the front door?
A special messenger, Mr. Axford, with a letter for you.
Yeah? Boy, golly, maybe I'm getting fat, man.
You might as well clear the table, kiddo. Axford won't eat any more dinner. It's most unusual.
Holy crow!
What's the matter with you?
Reed, this is from the Green Hornet. Look, it's got his seal on the bottom.
The Green Hornet writing to you?
It's on account of my name being on this article in the Sentinel.
Does the Hornet object to your accusation?
Yeah. He says he won't take the blame for what he don't do. He says my allegations are all wrong. And that ain't all.
No?
He says for me to take some cops and go and see this guy called Prince Yarpur and to do it tonight.
Axford, take me with you.
Oh, Reed, you?
Yes, why not? You're always telling about the adventures you have when you travel with Burke and the other policemen. Let me in on some of the fun.
Oh, no, Reed. I might be getting mixed up with the Green Hornet before the night is out.
Oh, what of it?
A criminal like that is dangerous. It wouldn't do for you to risk your neck.
Nonsense. What risk would there be with you along? Can't you protect me from the Green Hornet? Besides, you may not even see the Hornet. You're going to call on Japur, aren't you?
All right, Reed. I'll take you with me. But remember, if we see the Hornet, you get out of the way. You keep out of things and let me go into action.
In accordance with the request made by Yarpur, Henry Mason called at the house of Oriental Splendor and faced Yarpur across a small inlaid table. He was amazed at the coolness with which Prince Yarpur made an amazing suggestion.
And it will be possible for you to avoid much trouble. I will see that the body is never found.
Let me get you straight, Japur. You say you saw in the stars that Derek was to be killed last night?
Among other things, Sahib, I am an astrologer. And Derek was one of my pupils. I cast his horoscope some time ago. It was in the stars that last night he would meet with violence. I went to his home intending to warn him, but alas, I was too late.
Why did you send for me?
To help you, the husband of one of my pupils.
But I didn't kill Jonathan Derek.
You admit you had the motive. But I tell you, I in these stars that you will face trial and conviction, disgrace and ruin. The stars impel, Sahib, but do not foretell. They tell that which is destined, but those who are forewarned can take steps to change their destiny.
You said you would see that Derek's body was never found.
There can be no murder charge without the courts.
I suppose it will cost me plenty.
Worldly goods, perhaps. But what are these when your life is at stake? Abdul, tell he who is without that Japur is in consultation. I cannot ask you.
Mind the argument. We're here on business.
Break the law. This includes we're free. Come on, Mason. The police. Japur, we got a warrant to search your place for Derek's body.
Wait, don't touch them.
I can't stop them, Mason. It's Axford's fault.
Try and stop it. That faithful, take your hands off me, Japur. I'll fix you.
Axford, you're not your turban off.
Look. He's no more Hindu than I am. He's got blonde hair. Let's see this. Let's get it off now. Stop, this is a selfish man. This is T-Face. He's wearing makeup. I'm going, Iceberg. Keep it up. Stop your spouting, you phony. Stop. What's trading? Look at the guy now. It's Jonathan Derrick. The guy that was supposed to be a cadaver. This guy was both Jarpour and Derrick.
Actually, now I understand. Well, Jarpour got information from women. Then, as Jonathan Derrick, he used the information for blackmail and extortion.
So that's how you... Why, you rascal. Oh, golly, Mason packed the wallet.
Just a minute, actually. Maybe the real Jarpour was murdered. Maybe Jarpour killed Derrick and assumed his place.
No, I've been Derrick and Jarpour all along. You can't pin a murder on me.
Well, it seems to me, Axford, that the police should hold Derrick and his servant for as long as possible while a full investigation is made.
That's the ticket, Mr. Reed. That's what we'll do. Come on, you two crooks. There's a wagon waiting for you.
Maybe I'm just lucky. They'll hold Derrick for a couple of days, Mason. In that time, you can complete your real estate deal so Derrick can't make trouble.
I will.
Jarpour is finished as Jarpour. Derrick can be held for quite a few charges.
And I'm ready to worry. But it was a happy coincidence that motivated last night's event. No, I still can't understand just where or how this Green Hornet entered into it.
Well, it seems that he was accused by the papers of a murder. He resented it and sent Axford there with instructions to remove Jarpour's disguise.
Oh.
And I wanted to see Axford in action, so I came along. I guess he wanted to show off a bit. He certainly went in action, didn't he?
Yes. But now, this Green Hornet, I wonder if I need to worry about him.
Oh, I don't think so.
Crime doesn't stand a chance against Dick Tracy. Up next.
And now, Dick Tracy! This is Dick Tracy on the case of the Sinister Second. Stand by for action. Let's go, men. Yes, it's Dick Tracy, protector of law and order. Before we listen to today's Dick Tracy adventure, can you imagine a baseball team winning a pennant and a World Series with a team batting average only a paltry 205? Well, that's just what happened back in 1906 when fielder Allison Jones was the playing manager of the Chicago White Sox. With that team, if a man walked, got to second on a sacrifice, and advanced on an infield out, and scored on a long fly, it was considered a rally. One important asset the team possessed was the ability to run bases. In just that one season, the Hitless Wonders, as they were called, stole 209 bases. Of course, what made the team succeed really was teamwork. So the credit for their amazing record should go to fielder Jones, the manager. Jones, who played center field, hit only .230, but his low average doesn't tell the whole story. He could do everything with a bat. Hit for distance, hit to all fields. He was an expert with a bunt. Full of fire, he frequently came all the way in from center field to argue with umpires when he thought they were wrong. Jones loved to win. It was his spirit and leadership that inspired those Hitless Wonders to become the championship baseball team of 1906. And now, Dick Tracy. Dick Tracy and Pat Patton have been investigating a gambling racket. It seems that Win Plaisance, a gambler better known as Three-Way, who not only has been successful in naming the winners of several recent prize fights, but also has named the round in which the fight will end. In an effort to get to the bottom of this, Patton agrees to act as the second for Lefty Straight, a boxer who is soon to fight for the championship. Although virtually certain that Three-Way and his assistant Squeaky are working a racket together, neither Patton nor Tracy have been able to pin anything definite on them. As today's episode opens, Squeaky is on his way to report to the sinister Three-Way.
All right, Squeaky. Come on in. Well, what's all this mysterious business you mentioned on the phone?
The latest communique from the fighting front.
And before we go any farther, Why aren't you still at Lefty's training camp?
All in due time, good sir. And what I wanted to tell you was the missing second, which suddenly turned up in good health yesterday.
Huh?
It seems that he was sojourning with some native redmen, a story which I won't bore you with at this juncture.
Well, what story are you going to bore me with?
What? Good old three-way, always bantering a quip. But to get down to cases, this missing second, one Pat Patrick by name, suddenly turns up. And you know who it was that's found him?
Dick Tracy. Who else?
That's right, it was Dick Tracy. But something about the deal didn't smell quite copacetic.
I know. Tracy and this Patrick person seem too friendly to suit you.
Hey, that's right. How could you possibly arrive at such a deduction?
I suspected something like that all along. It was a little too neat. The way Tracy just happened to show up at Mother Patterson's as soon as his fake second disappeared.
Yeah, but what does that do to our plans?
That depends on how you answer my next question, which is, do you think Tracy suspects your part in the plan?
No, I don't think so. They were all very cordial at me. And Sharpie said he was going to send me a check for all the work which I'd done with Lefty.
I see. So then you think it's safe to go ahead and put up more money?
Oh, abso. The only reason I departed the homey atmosphere of Mother Patterson's was because, well, I thought I might say something to Tracy or to this Patrick character that might spill it.
And who do you figure this Patrick person really is?
Oh, probably some flatfoot. Hey, you should have seen his face when I said I'd remember him to Tommy Thomas, which I expected to see shortly.
You said that?
Yeah, why, sure. I wanted to see how he'd react at such a remark.
Squicky, you're a fool.
Hey, you're awful free and easy with the insults, chum. I wonder how you'd look dead.
Sit down, Squeaky. Sit down and try for once to act as if you had some intelligence. You know you haven't the guts to stand up to me, and I know it. So why kid ourselves?
Well, like I said before, three-way, bravery gets you nowhere but dead. I don't stand up to no one, but a surprising number of people are pushing up daisies now at my request. There's several ways of doing it.
I know. There might even be 3 ways. I'll always be at least one guess ahead of you. Now listen.
I'm listening.
When you made that ill-chosen remark to Patrick, he knew you'd find out that he was a phony.
So
he'll tell that back to Sharpie, who undoubtedly is in on it. Then you may not be called a second when Patrick fails to show up.
Yeah, well, I think there's one way out of that.
Which is?
We won't remove Patrick from the scene of action until immediately preceding the scrap. Then, when they notice which he's gone, it'll be too late to do anything but take me.
Yes, that might be true.
And being as how I already worked with Lefty, who could be an easier choice? When they see me sitting right back of his corner.
They'll probably pick you all right. They'll probably watch every move. Tracy won't take his eyes off you during the entire fight.
So which? With the system we use, the audience could be made up of nothing but FBI men, and they still wouldn't know why Lefty got the stuffing kicked out in a certain round. By the way, which rounds are going to be?
5th. Lefty's so much better than Roundhouse Rogan, I figure he may pull a KO if we let it go any longer.
Yeah, I think you're right. So what you worrying about? We're in.
All right, Squeaky. I'll go ahead. I've got 50,000 up so far. And I'd let it go by default if I thought they were onto us. But now I'll put up another 50,000. And if all goes well, and they pick you to act as second, I'll put up 100 grand more at fight time. So remember, Squeaky, you'd better be right.
With 200 G's riding, I couldn't be wrong. So now, what's the plan?
We'll get to the auditorium early and go downstairs to the dressing rooms.
I'm with you so far.
Lefty and his car will get there early and go to his dressing room, where a small note will be delivered to Mr. Pep Patrick inviting him to join us in one of the empty rooms used by the prelim boys.
Yeah, but what makes you so sure he'll accept the invite?
From the way you've described him, he's probably a sentimental Irishman who'd risk his life rather than betray a lady's confidence.
That sounds like Pat, all right.
I think if we send him a letter from a lady in distress, his chivalrous nature will force him to answer.
Hey, that's a good idea. And I know just a lady, too. An Indian doll which is named Bashful Buffalo.
Good. If we word our note just right, it'll bring Mr. Patrick running, and alone. Fortunately, chivalry is not entirely dead, with some people.
Well, tonight's the night, Patrick. We'll be leaving this inn for town in a few minutes.
Yeah, and outside of this coal I caught here, I'm still in one piece. You know, Richard, I don't think those gamblers are going to try anything. After they realized what kind of men they were dealing with, I think they just crawled back into their rat holes.
Possible, but not at all probable. Pat, I contacted Moose the Muscle by phone, and he tells me the three-way is still betting heavily against Lefty. Furthermore, he's betting that it'll end in the 5th round.
You believe what Moose says?
Ordinarily, no. Wouldn't believe what any bookie said. But in this case, they're as worried about three-ways winning habits as we are.
Well, this is where his winning streak comes to an abrupt halt. With me in Lefty's corner, there's no possibility of any dirty work.
If you're in his corner. Don't forget that that's the key to the whole thing.
Yeah, they have to get up early in the morning to fool Pat Patton. And, speaking of getting up early in the morning, has anybody seen Battling Bulge? He was up and gone by the time I got up this morning.
No, he's probably mooning around somewhere with Bashful Buffalo. I haven't seen her around the inn either.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hello there, Lefty. We were just discussing your lovesick sparring mate.
Oh.
Pat says he got up very early this morning and disappeared.
Yeah, I know. He left a note. Well, I wish him all the luck in the world.
Oh, now, don't tell me he's gone and taken a plunge.
I'm afraid he has, Pat. Listen to this note which he shoved under my door. Dear pal Lefty, please understand when I'm writing at you because I found the biggest thing in my life.
Yeah, Bashful Buffalo's the biggest thing in anyone's life.
I've done a lot of bumming around and never took nothing serious, but now it's different. Bashful Buffalo is going to manage me into a big-time fighter, and in return, I'm going to learn her English.
This should have interesting results.
I know you ain't going to spar no more before the fight, so I'm leaving. But we'll be at the ring tonight rooting. Me and the little woman.
Little woman, indeed.
P.S. I guess I forgot to say we was getting married today. Signed by hand, Battling Bulge.
Well, what do you know? Who'd ever have thought that out of all this business of gamblers and killings and such, romance would bloom? And such a romance.
Yes, I don't know when I've seen a more perfectly matched couple.
That poor old bat, he's such a bashful Joe. I don't see how he ever got up enough nerve to propose.
He probably didn't, Lefty. The lady in question isn't the type to stand on ceremony.
Well, we'll have to have a big party for him after the fight tonight. Celebrating their wedding and my winning the championship.
You're pretty sure about winning, aren't you?
Oh, Mr. Tracy, I've never been in better shape in my life. See, I've studied Roundhouse Rogan both at the ring and in pictures, and if there ever was a fighter that I could beat that was just made for my style, it's Roundhouse Rogan. I'll win, all right.
I hope you're not underestimating one small item.
You mean three-way?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't think we have anything to worry about from him. When Squeaky went back to town, I think they pulled in their horns and gave up.
Well, I hope you're right, but we've all got to be on the alert.
Relax, Mr. Tracy. Why, with Pat here in my corner, how can I possibly lose?
Oh, you can't. Richard here's one of the biggest crepe hangers in the business.
Well, he can fold it up and save it for another time. Oh, there's Sharpie looking for me, so I'll be leaving now. And don't worry, Mr. Tracy. I'll win that fight. See you later.
Okay. I hope so, Lefty.
Say, Dick, why didn't you tell him that three-way was still betting heavily against him?
I didn't want him to be fighting under too big a handicap. After all, Pat, just having you as his second is enough.
Now, just a minute, Richard. When I get into that arena tonight, everything's going to be under control. As I said before, you got to get up early in the morning to fool Pat Patton. Yes, sir, very early in the morning.
Well, Pat, how do you feel making your debut as a fight second?
Oh, fine, great. I can hardly wait for that first round bell to be in there punching.
You better leave that end of it to me. Just keep an eye peeled for those gamblers that Tracy's so worried about and leave everything else to me. Where is Tracy, by the way?
Well, he went upstairs to make a phone call to headquarters. He'll be right back.
Pardon me, one of you gents, Pat Patrick?
Yeah, that's right.
I got a note for you. Here.
Oh, thanks. Well, now, if that isn't cute. Lucky, I'll be back in a minute.
Oh, what is it, Pat?
It's a note from Bashful Buffalo. She and Battling Bulge want to tell me something.
Well, look, don't you think somebody ought to go with you?
Well, no, she asked that I come alone. And Patton never refused the lady's request.
In a moment, we'll return to Dick Tracy. But first, some character dreamed up a new title for Don McNeil, MC of the popular ABC morning show, The Breakfast Club. Said title being, quote, man with the warmest voice in radio. Well, it seems to be a scientific fact. Don McNeil won a test lately that some scientists in Hollywood had invented. They developed an instrument which converted vocal sounds into electric impulses, and that in turn heated a copper wire, and this invention could determine who had the warmest voice in radio. Well, it took a record of McNeil's voice. His vocal effort sent the thermometer way up to 138 degrees, far and away from the voices of the other top 14 radio personalities who were tested. Well, this probably comes as no great surprise to the millions of McNeil fans who take their toast and coffee every morning with the Breakfast Club gang. They know Don's warm voice and personality because everything sets them in the right mood for the rest of the day. Breakfast Club's been a nationwide listening habit for 13 years. Fran Allison, Sam Cowling contribute to the fun. So, for a fun-filled morning, tune in to the Breakfast Club show tomorrow morning on most of these ABC stations. And now, back to Dick Tracy.
I'm looking for... Say, what is this?
Just step in and close the door, chum. You're much too smart a gent to argue with this here heater which I hold in my chubby fist.
Well, it looks like Squeaky got up early enough in the morning to put Patton and Lefty behind a very deadly 8-ball. Tune in tomorrow for The Adventures of Dick Tracy. Produced by Charles Powers, this is George Gunn speaking. When people hire a maid, they usually get a maid of all work. But if you were hiring Beulah, you'd be getting a maid of all shirk. Beulah's the star of the Wednesday Laugh Festival of the same name. Even though she isn't the best worker in the world, she more than makes up in laughs for her laziness. Beulah runs the Jones household, and she'll run away with your funny bone as she does. To add a couple of light touches to the goings-on, there's music with Buzz Adlam's orchestra, and music in the vocal way by Penny Piper. So help yourself to a harvest of good humor with the Beulah Show tonight on most of these same ABC stations. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company. Casting Company.
One of old-time radio's longest-running and most popular programs, CBS Mystery Theater, is up next.
Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to the world of terrifying imagination, to the fear you can hear. There is a green land called the Emerald Isle, where stardust dapples shining lakes that sparkle against blue mountains which fall away to winding bays. But there are darker sides to Ireland, currents that run deep, a wasting, bitter civil war in the north, and everywhere, lurking behind the shamrock and beneath the laughter, a dark world of legend, of banshees and warlocks, of voices on the wind against which the traveler should stop his ears, or the sound of the death bell. Our mystery drama, The Death Bell, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Michael Tolan. It is sponsored in part by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser, and by the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
Hello, this is Goldilocks. It seems like only yesterday that I was a little girl tasting porridge. You know, this one's too hot. This one's too cold. And now I conduct taste tests on diet drinks. And there's one I must tell you about. Sugar-free Diet 7-Up. It has a fresh, natural, delicious taste. It drives my taste meter crazy. Sugar-free Diet 7-Up. This one's just right.
Computers. We're big on that. You deserve an airline that remembers your name. Ozark's computer helps us not to forget your name, reservation, connections, your return plans. At Ozark, a big impersonal computer helps us deal more personally with you. Computers, we're big on that at Ozark Airlines.
Now go Ozark's evening jet at 6:45 to Washington with through service to Champaign-Urbana and Peoria.
Since time immemorial, man has sought to trace the future in the lines of the palm. The best answer always is, if you truly believe. As in spite of herself, it would appear that Sheila Doyle does.
The moment I clapped eyes on Denny's cousin from the States, Brian Mackin, there was a bogle tugging at my skirts. And the one look in his hand ran the blood in me cold, for I never saw a shadow plainer.
Brian? Oh, yes, Denny. Well, what are you doing over by the window? I'm trying to see where that bell came from. What bell? It's been ringing ever since you went up with Sheila, don't you? Well, that's funny. What? It stopped. You didn't hear it? Nope. Well, maybe you're just used to it. Don't you have some kind of a bell around here? Well, the church?
No, not a church bell. Something much smaller, like, on an animal, maybe.
Well, there aren't any animals around.
Oh, well, maybe I'm just hearing things after that scare Sheila threw into
Oh,
me.
look, Brian, I'm sorry about that. Sheila's as level-headed as they come about everything except some of the old country superstitions. She wasn't kidding, you know. She really believes in a lot of this.
Well, forget it, Denny. I'm not worried about me. I was only concerned about Sheila. She looked all shook up.
Oh, she was embarrassed. I think she felt she'd made a fool of herself. I don't think she'll be able to face you again tonight, but by morning she'll cook you a breakfast that'll stick to your ribs. You are going to stay, huh?
Oh, I can take the car and run down to the local inn.
No, sir, not on your life. My cousin comes all the way from the States. I don't let you get away till we do some catching up.
Catching up?
Yes. I want to hear all about your wife.
My wife?
Yes. Sheila and I are so sorry she didn't come along with you.
She wasn't feeling herself at the last moment.
Yes, I know, so you said.
You see, this isn't so much a trip. It's more a sort of pilgrimage.
A what?
I want to find Carrie Kleiner. I want to see it for myself.
If it exists.
What do you mean?
Well, Brian, I always understood it was just a family legend.
You mean to say you've been here in Ireland now for 3 years and you haven't tried to look it up?
Man, it's near 250 miles from here, and I haven't a car. Anyways, it wasn't my side of the family.
Well, it was mine. Or should have been. At the very least from my mother's side. You know that.
Well, I honestly don't. All I know is that my mother used to ramble on when she got older about how there was royalty in the blood somewhere far back and the ancestors lived in a castle in the north.
Carrig Kleiner. It was a castle.
Huh?
The Carrigs were said to be in the direct line of descent from Brian Boru himself. And it was a family custom to name the residence for the family name and for the wife who reigned over it. My great-great-grandmother, Kleiner, was married to the last of the line, Lord Carrig.
Your great-great-grandfather?
That's one of the things I'd like to find out. See, I think he was.
You think?
Lord Carrig didn't. He killed Kleiner and threw the man he said was her lover from the balcony over the sea to be smashed to death on the rocks below. And he sent my great-grandfather to be brought up by his wife's family, the Mackens.
Your great-grandfather? You mean Carrig's son?
He refused to recognize him. Claimed he was illegitimate.
I see. Well, now, look. Looking for an old lost castle is as good a way as any of spending a vacation. You'll get a chance to see a good bit of Ireland on the way. Now, come on. Let's go get your bag out of the car, and I'll show you to your room. For the first time in our marriage, I found myself getting a little annoyed with Sheila as I walked Brian to the car. There was that vague kind of family connection between us. You write off as cousins, but mostly what we were was old friends and classmates. Now, with Sheila's superstitions jogging my imagination, I was uneasy with Brian. A feeling, thank the Lord, that a few minutes in the soft Irish night blew away.
Oh, it's good to be alive on a night like this. It makes me think of...
What, Brian?
Commencement. The end of the term, anyway. or after the last ball game of the season. Tired, but loose. You remember?
Well, for pitchers, maybe. Catchers with old football knees took longer to unwind. Well, so, how's the old rat race?
Advertising? Oh, it still goes round and round. Hamsters on a cage wheel. How's the writing?
Slow, but sure. And I make an honest buck cutting peat to keep myself in shape.
You're a happy man.
Oh, what more could I ask for? Wait till you see your namesake tomorrow.
Little Brian. How soon will he be 2?
About the time his little sister comes to join him, 6 months or so.
Oh, hey, you're having another?
Yes.
Well, that's solid, man. It's solid.
Well, you know I always liked kids. Nothing like having your own, though. And how about you, senior citizen?
What does that mean?
Well, you have been married longer than Sheila and me. When are you and Gloria going to have yours?
As a matter of fact, Gloria got pregnant 7 months ago.
Oh, and you're trying to keep it secret. So that's why she didn't come along, huh?
That's one of the reasons. But come on, I can't keep you away from your wife any longer. Here, just let me get my gear and we can hit the sack.
Oh, there's no hurry. For my money, we could sit up all night and shoot the breeze.
Well, that'd suit me if I didn't have a
a long journey ahead of me tomorrow.
Oh, I see. You're still determined to go chasing rainbows.
I heard the door close when they left the house, and had gone to the window to watch Denny and Brian talk at the car. I couldn't hear the words, but at least Brian's arms slung around Denny's shoulder eased my mind enough to make me go to bed. Still and all, even with the soothing sound of their voices rumbling below and their laughter, it was long before I fell into an uneasy sleep.
Oh,
Denny?
Oh, I'm sorry. Shh, Sheila, shh. Darling, go to sleep.
It's all right. I was half on to waking. Turn the light on.
No need. I'm all undressed. Just come into bed.
And did you get Brian settled?
Yes. He's snoring already. By the time I closed up and looked in on little Brian, he was dead to the world. Darling, what's wrong? You shivered.
Oh, it was maybe a hair limped over my grave. Hold me.
Who needs to be asked? Sheila, you're wrong about Brian.
What way?
We've had a long talk, just like old times. I never felt closer to him.
Well, I know you've missed him since you came away here.
We were always more like brothers than cousins. Well, I'm not saying he isn't tense and all wound up, but that's old stuff to me, Akushla.
Oh, you're making to be a real Irishman again.
Well, next to you because of you, and grateful I am.
Are you for real, Danny?
Don't you know? Oh, Sheila, I used to be all tied up in knots like Brian, and that's all it is, you see.
Well, I hope you're right.
You haven't heard the best news yet.
What?
Well, you're not the only one that's carrying a heart beneath your own. Gloria's expecting.
Brian's wife? When?
Before you. That's why she didn't come along this trip.
Well, that's good news, Denny. I want to be happy for your friend, your cousin, your brother, almost.
Well, so you can be. You can be. Sheila. What did you think you saw in Brian's palm?
Don't ask me. First of all, because I have no words to tell you. And second, I'm praying to sweet Mary to forgive me. For I'm hoping it was himself who's only giving me a warning not to meddle in the Lord's business.
The night is quiet outside, except for the tinkle of that far-off bell. There's a kind of peace. I had to stop here with Denny, touch normal life, if only for a moment. I will not think back, and tomorrow must wait till I find it. I know what it will bring to so many people. I wonder what it will bring to me, Brian Mackin. The last thing I hear is the bell, lulling me to sleep. Well, that does it. All set for the road.
Oh, I wish you didn't have to go so soon.
So do I.
Will you stop by then to see us on your way back?
I don't know if I'll be coming this way, Sheila.
Oh, try to make it. And Brian.
Yes?
The farther north you get, particularly beyond Sligo, hug the coastline all the way. Please, don't go near the border.
Ulster, you mean?
There's still a lot of trouble.
I wish you'd forget the whole thing.
Except I won't.
Well, man, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. And if there ever was a Carrick-Clana, it's probably nothing but ruins by now.
If there ever was one, I'll find it. And I think I will.
And if you should, what would it prove?
I don't know.
Goodbye, Brian. Come again.
I'll try. Bye, Denny, old pal.
I'll only say au revoir.
And it's glad I am to have met you, and forgive me for last night.
The gypsy's warning?
I don't know what came over me.
Think nothing of it.
Well, so long, chum, and drive carefully. I hope you had a good night's sleep.
With the good company and the good air, what else? Even the little bell I finally got used to. And off I went like a log. So here goes. Hail and farewell.
What was that about a bell, Denny?
Search me, Mavourneen. When I came downstairs last night after I took you up to bed, Brian was by the window. He insisted he could hear a little bell ringing somewhere, but I couldn't hear it.
What kind of a bell was that?
Like it was on an animal, he said. Not like a cow, but more, say, like a goat.
The Lord and all his saints be praised.
No, don't. What is it, Sheila?
We should call him back. He should get out of Ireland.
Well, what are you getting all riled up about now, honey?
I told you he was holding the shadow of death in his palm. Now I know I made no mistake. There's no bell in this town he could have heard like you said. Except one.
What?
The one that's only heard by him it sounds for, and I know it for sure. 'Twas the death bell.
Is Brian Mackin really marked for death? And if so, how soon? And how? We will return shortly with Act 2.
Some beer drinkers have funny ideas about beer. They think beer improves with age, like wine. Well, find a brewmaster, though. You'll find a beer drinker who knows better. The Budweiser brewmaster says it all depends on how beer is aged. Just letting beer sit in lagering tanks makes it older, not necessarily better. That even goes for keeping a case around the house for a couple of months. But there is one kind of aging that's good for beer. The Budweiser kind. Beechwood aging. In this kind of aging, something happens. It lets all the flavor of the choicest hops and best barley malt that go into Budweiser get through to you. Sure, it takes more time and trouble to brew Budweiser that way, but brewing beer right does make a difference. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Hey, Mom, what's for dinner? Hey, Mom, what you got?
It's time to get ready for the great outdoors, and your ShopRite supermarket has everything you'll need for cookout dinners and fun in the sun. And for this week's dinners, ShopRite is featuring whole grade A frying chickens, just 37 cents a pound. Roasting chickens, up to 4 pounds, 47 cents a pound. Choice beef rib steaks, $1.19 a pound. ShopRite Franks, just 89 cents a pound. Get all your outdoor cooking equipment and many great food values at your ShopRite supermarket this week.
She loves the family. She wants the best. She does all that she can do. She lets ShopRite do the rest. Hey, Ma, what's for dinner? ShopRite has the answer.
250 miles is a short day's drive as we reckon it in the good old US of A. But through the length of Ireland, stopping more and more in the last 50 miles to ask the still unanswered question, do you know of a castle in these parts called Carrickclena? It's a long, long trip that at last has brought Brian Mackin to a little bridge across a valley stream. Stopping there to eat the lunch Sheila put up for him before he left, he has scarcely finished it as twilight falls. Then, as he dozes for a moment, back against a tree...
What? Pull him up! Pull him up!
I can't throw him!
Hold on, don't get thrown. Oh, boy. Oh, easy. Hold up there. Hold up. All right. Easy, boy. Easy. All right. Are you all right, ma'am?
Yes, and I'm much beholden to you, sir.
Oh, it's my pleasure. What happened?
Something frightened my horse. I lost control. May I have the reins, sir?
All right, now, stay, boy, stay. Here you are.
Thank you, Mr.
Brian Mackin.
How do you do? I am the Lady Clena Carrig.
What?
I said I'm Lady Carrig.
Of Carrickclena?
Well, naturally.
Then it does exist.
I should hope so. I was just on my way home.
Where is it?
Just across the bridge and over the hill. Oh, now that I've regained my composure. On my soul, you do look familiar. I didn't catch your name.
Brian Mackin.
Oh, no. No. You must be mad to try to intercept me here. Run, Brian. Run for your life. Reach him. Get.
Wait a minute, my lady.
If you value your life, stay away from me.
I am frozen at her sudden flight. Then suddenly I find myself running after her, laboring for breath over the last burst to the crest of the hill. Oh, damn, the light going. But where? She couldn't have just disappeared into thin air. But she had.
In the lowering darkness, I can see the long sweep of the countryside down to the rocks and sea cliffs. And there's no sign of horse or rider, or of any destination they might be bound for, nor any road for a horse to follow, much less my modern car. For the moment, I realize I must return to my car and seek some lodging for the night.
Danny, is that you?
Well, who else were you expecting, Sheila?
Oh, darling, I'm that glad to see you.
Ah.
It's late, you are.
Oh, we cut a few extra squares tonight as long as the light was with us. Here, what is it, little bird? You're all aflutter.
It's Brian's on my mind. Oh, you'll laugh at me again, I suppose. But as I was laying our little one down with the sun just gone over the hill, I thought I heard him calling, Clena, Clena.
Oh, now, Sheila, what's got into you?
I wish I knew. I only know somehow we should never have let Brian go off for the north. Something terrible is going to happen to him.
And if there is, what could we do to stop it?
Well, we should try.
Would you have me follow him on Shank's mare? How fast do you think I could walk it?
Well, you could borrow the McFadden's car or Seamus' motorcycle.
And if I did, where would I head for?
Oh, don't fault me, darling, or make me the fool. It's just a feeling comes over me and I can't help it. I want to be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Sheila, now please, stop worrying about Brian. If anyone ever knew how to take care of himself, that's the guy. I said it with authority because I meant it, or I thought I meant it. Or I tried to mean it because I wanted to reassure Sheila. The truth is, I was shaken again. I'd been 3 years living in Ireland, long enough to fall under all of her spells, even the black ones. And I'd have given anything to know where Brian was at that moment. And what he was doing.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
Sorry, closing time is posted.
I wasn't looking for a drink as much as I was for accommodations tonight.
Well, now, as to that...
I'm willing to pay well for it.
An American, is it? Well, for that much, I suppose we could be after finding your room and a bite to sup.
And perhaps a little information?
We're not for doing much talking around these parts, in particular to strangers. What would you want to know?
Well, something very simple, I hope. Would either of you know where I could find a place called Carrick-Clena?
Carrick-Clena? Yes, no. What would be after bringing it to these parts looking for the likes of Carrick-Clena?
Well, till late this afternoon, only a dim hope of finding it after all these years. For private reasons.
Oh, and what would the private reasons be?
Family ones. My great-grandfather was born there.
Was he now? And what was it that late this afternoon gave you the good hope of finding Carrick-Clena?
I ran into someone who lives there.
Who lives there? Paddy?
Will you hold your tongue, Mick? And who would you have met that said they was from the castle?
A very beautiful woman. A girl, actually, who said she was the Lady Clena Carrick.
Oh, the Lord and his saints preserve us.
The Lady Clena? Where was this then?
For about 5 miles or so north of here. There's a road goes winding down to a little bridge and then goes up a rise on the other side, but sort of peters out.
Ah, that's the old Ballybrig across the Scallanore.
Did you drive your car across that bridge?
No, I stopped this side of it because the going was getting so rough.
Sure, it's lucky you didn't drive on it. It might have carried away with you.
That bridge has been condemned for anything but foot travel as long as I can remember.
But why?
Because it doesn't lead to anywhere anymore.
It leads to Carrick-Clena somehow.
How would you know that?
Because the lady was bound for there on her horse.
Ah? Was it a big bay mare with a mane as white as snow?
Yes, that's the one.
And the woman? How was she dressed?
Why, she was in sort of a green velvet dress with a big hat, like an old-fashioned riding habit, you'd say.
Oh, Mary bless us.
And the good Lord save us all. Old-fashioned it is for sure. For the Lady Clena has been dead these 100 years and more.
No, this was a young woman.
She was only past her 21st year when she died. That was no real woman you saw this afternoon, stranger. That was her ghost.
But I talked to her.
Did you now, then? What you saw was never real. And you can take that as gospel.
Well, perhaps. I hadn't eaten all day, and I did take a nap under a tree.
And 'twas twilight, when all fancies begin.
We'll let it go at that anyway. But
Carrie Kleiner, is that just fancy, too?
Well, now, as to that... Must you always put your oar in, Mick? I'm talking to the gentleman here, Mr.
Mackin. Brian Mackin.
It is a good Irish name.
I mentioned that my family came from Ireland.
So you did. And at least you've had the sense God gave you to come back. I'm Paddy Flynn, and the little runt here is Mickey Mahan. The top of the evening to you. Is it back you are to stay, Mr. Markin?
That depends on what I find at Carrie Kleiner.
It's little you'll find there. Deserted and empty, and blown by the winds for a century. It's not but a ruin. Not worth the effort to go by it. And sometimes at nightfall, there's a woman's voice that'll call, "Come away, come away," and ill betide the man who listens.
Well, just the same, I want to see Carrie Kleiner. Can you guide me there?
Not by night. I wouldn't stir out by night for all the gold in a leprechaun's hoard. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see. It's time we were all to bed. Come, I'll show you your room, Mr. Mackin. Do you think he's from the police? I don't think so, but I'm taking the chances. Sure, and what are you doing there? I'm making Mr. Mackin a little nightcap, as he requested. Only, it'll be a little stronger than he expected. How is that, Paddy? Sure, I'm giving him a little extra dividend. Your namesake, as you might say. Who will that be at all? Mickey Finn. I never heard tell of him. Well, now, that's because he emigrated to Chicago, USA, long before your time and mine. But he gave his name to what's in this little bottle here. Well, looks like no more than bog water. It'll make you sleep a deal sounder. Now then, you'll take this drink up to him, whilst I go arrange for the truck. It is a good thing we have a full moon to work with this night. To work? Isn't it obvious the guns are no longer safe at Carrie Kleiner? We'll have to have them up and away over the border by morning, before our American gets to nosing about. We're not going by the castle by the dead of night. How else? But she'll be walking again by the full moon. You heard Mr. Mackin saw her abroad in skirts before dark. What kind of soldier are you, Mick, that starts at shadows? Now, let's have no more nonsense out of you. And away up with a drink to Mr. Mackin.
I look at my watch. It's just after midnight. The nightcap is untasted on the table beside my bed. I don't trust it. I don't trust a lot of things. But where to get rid of it? A vagrant memory drifts across my mind of jokes among old country people. A quick look under the bed, and there is the receptacle. It's a matter of a moment to empty the glass in it. And none too soon. I can hear stealthy footsteps approaching.
Don't use the curse, Mick. Unless there's trouble. If there is, I'll put him to sleep myself. Mr. Mackin? Mr. Mackin? I think he's away. Follow me. He's dead to the world. We'll check that out. He's drunk it. Will it keep him quiet long enough? 8 to 10 hours. And even when he wakes, he'll not want to leave his bed. Now come away, man. We've much to do.
Lying on my bed, snoring, pretending to be asleep, I have listened to everything. But the fall of that heavy lock tells me once and for all, I am a prisoner. But as I wait for them to leave the house, I know that nothing will keep me from Carrie Kleiner. I have an appointment there that's been waiting 100 years. And even now, in the still of the night, I can hear the far-off tinkle of that bell and a voice crying.
Come away, Brian! Come away back to Carrie
I will return shortly with Act 3.
I stand by the window,
carefully on the side where the moonlight cannot cast my shadow and watch the courtyard of the inn below. A small truck like a weapons carrier is there, and Patty and Mick climb into it. In a moment, it has gone to a destination I can only guess. By the time I am out the window, clambering to the courtyard and into my car, there is no hope of following, particularly when I find my distributor cap gone and my car useless. It's a long, agonizing walk for 5 miles, even on a moonlit night. And by the time I have crossed the bridge and climbed to the ridge above, I am at the ragged edge of exhaustion. But there is a reward. Far below, against the restless sea, there are pinpoints of light that move. I am near the end of my pilgrimage, and the bell is sounding again.
Danny.
What is it, Sheila?
The phone, it's ringing.
Well, what time is it?
It's 3:30 in the morning.
Well, who could be calling us now?
I don't know. I have been lying here awake, afraid that something was about to happen. Will you go down now and answer it, or shall I?
All right. I'm on my way, but who?
It's Brian. Or something about him. And whatever it is, no bell that rings in the night brings anything but ill luck.
Is that the last of them? Not by a long shot. And damn the moon. It's off away behind the clouds again.
I wish I was off away with it.
What's the matter, Mick? Are you afraid a banshee'll howl you off to your grave? Well, there's little I like at all about this night. We're all stretching our necks across the gibbet one way or t'other. Well, the sooner we deliver these guns over the border, the safer we'll be.
I wish now I'd stood away with a ship that delivered them 3 days ago, and I'd be out of this in the way home.
Well, you didn't. So let's have at it and get them away from the storehouse before...
Wait a minute. What is it? By the ridge there. The silhouette of a man. Let's get the truck away and hidden around to the seaward side.
Hey, you take it. Give me that cuss of yours, and I'll handle whatever comes this way.
Yes, Sergeant, he was. Well, he left yesterday morning about 9. All I know is he was headed somewhere north of Sligo, Galway Bay area. Yes, he was looking for a place named Carrickclena. No, not at all. And please, he's a cousin of mine and a very good friend. You will keep us notified and let us know what's happening. Yes, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
What is it, Denny?
What are you doing out of bed, Sheila?
Who was on the phone? You said Sergeant.
It was Liam Flaherty of the police. Sheila, there's all hell to pay.
Tell me.
There was a tracer from the States. They called the local here to get in touch with us.
Why?
The police in America. They're trying to get in touch with Brian.
What has Brian done?
That isn't the point. It's what's been done to him.
What?
Brace yourself, my darling. Somebody murdered his wife. A moment ago, on my way down the hill, I could see Carrickclena full in the moon. What do they mean it's a ruin? It was just as I pictured it. Turrets, mullioned windows with diamond-shaped glass panes, great oak doors, and ivied granite. Now, with the moon hidden, its silhouette looms over me, reaching out to me as I come home at...
Oh, cool. You didn't have to hit him so hard. I wasn't taking any chances with Mr. Mackin this time. Is that who it is? Say for yourself. How'd you get over the drink and away and here? No time to worry about that now.
You think he is police or maybe the British?
Whatever he is, we'll decide that later. Let's get the guns off and away first.
I'm standing in front of the great door of Carrickclena, and I know that everything's going to come clear at long last. I reach out and pull the bell. Even the bell is familiar, although I cannot quite place where I've heard it before. And now, the door is opening.
Good evening, Brian. We've been waiting for you.
Good evening, Your Lordship. I'm sorry I'm late.
No matter. We've but just finished dinner, and her ladyship is with the child. Will you join me in a glass of mulled wine?
At your pleasure.
I've not seen you for some time, and... the devil. I've forgotten. I must catch my sea captain before he leaves to send some packets. Will you forgive me? I should not be over 2 hours or so. May I hope you will attend milady in my absence?
I should be happy to, except... Would you not rather I transmit the packages for you on my way home?
No. I must have certain words with the shipmaster that I alone can bring. Besides, I would not deprive Kleina of some outside companionship. We're so isolated here, it would be cruel to deny her a new face to brighten her solitude.
The hour is late. Perhaps it would be better...
No, I won't hear of it. You shall be our guest for the night, and I shall be back post-haste. I'll try to make it in as close to 2 hours as possible. Meanwhile, make yourself completely at home.
I am in a dream, I suppose. For by my host's clothes, the speech, a calendar I find on the wall, I am back in the past over 100 years. But more important, I am within the walls of Carrie Kleina, and the riddle of my whole life, I feel, is near to being solved. When Lord Carrig leaves, I am too impatient to wait for my answers. So I climb the great staircase to Kleina's bedroom and knock on the door.
Who is it?
Brian.
A moment. What are you doing here?
I grew tired of waiting for you to come down.
My husband, he's...
Lord Carrig has ridden to town. It will be 2 hours before he returns. May I come in?
I shouldn't let you.
It's too late.
I thought you'd left for good 2 years ago.
When I lost you to him, I meant to. But for a while, I stayed hiding in the fen.
Oh, I know you were seen. Do you know what you've done to me? And why do you come back now?
I wanted to see the boy.
By what right?
Is he mine, Kleina? I have to know. Is he mine?
No.
You called him by my name.
It was a foolish choice.
Why?
Because I loved you.
And now?
Oh, Brian, the years have come and gone. Lord Carrig is my husband and the father of my child. And I have a whole new life I've learned to accept.
I still want to know if the child is mine.
Let me go.
When you answer me.
How could he be yours? He was born 10 months after I married Lord Carrig.
Then why does everyone whisper he's mine?
Because you didn't leave as you promised. Why didn't you take yourself right out of my life?
But there was nothing between us after your marriage.
We know that, but no one else believes it.
They still think the child is mine.
Even Lord Carrig. I can't imagine why he could have welcomed you here tonight. I can't tell you how he... Wait a minute.
What is it?
Hush. Dear God, he's here. He'll kill me.
Over my dead body. And here it is. The moment I've reached back through a century for. The one I want to change. It's today I want to bring back. And Gloria and my own child that I killed in one moment of anger and hate as Lord Carrig plans to do with me and Kleina now. I have only one chance of bringing Gloria back. To change history. Or at least to set it right.
He's coming up the outside balcony stairs. Through the French windows. Run, Brian, he'll kill me if he finds you here.
I'll kill him first for doubting you.
In heaven's name, no!
Lord Carrig, hold.
So once again you try to steal my wife.
Put up your dagger. I am unarmed.
So much the better. You first, and then my wife.
This time not so easily. I'm not the hunted, but the hunter. Look to yourself! He stands with his dagger half raised, frozen with inaction as I hurtle myself towards him, hands raised to shield and grapple and destroy him. But what I reach for is nothing but a shade. My outstretched hands grasp only air, and my hurtling body passing through his spectral waist crashes full tilt against the crumbling battlement, which gives way like powder. And of a sudden, just like the lover in the ancient legend, I am plummeting like today's skydiver towards the rocks below. And in this awful moment, I know that I was just as wrong about my wife, Gloria, as Lord Carrig was 100 years ago about Kleina. Small comfort now to know that I am legitimate as the rocks below rush up towards me like an express train, and I am no more. Are you ready, Sheila?
In a moment.
What is it, darling?
But bell. I don't know if I ever want to hear a bell in my life again.
That's only the church bell. We didn't ever hear the other one.
What happened to him, Denny?
Oh, I'd have to be God to answer that. He snapped. The way a lot of us do when life spins us around too fast and curdles our brains. Why do you think I ran away from it all and came here to find peace?
Brian really killed Gloria.
He'd had a nervous breakdown 2 months ago. He escaped from the sanitarium. His obsession about paternity had put him there, and Gloria was asking for a divorce. He lost his head. She lost her life.
But how did he think he could escape by coming here?
I don't think he was looking for escape, but... Oh, I know it's such a writer's word, but... expiation.
Are you saying, then, he was after taking his own life?
We'll never know, Sheila. The police say there's some evidence that the IRA were using Carriglana as a depot for smuggled arms from the sea. Maybe he stumbled on them. The local folk would tell you that anyone in that haunted castle after dark, especially when the moon was full, was risking God knows what. And someone I know very dearly sensed he was marked by fate for death.
Oh, don't. I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
Perhaps for Brian Macken 'twas the only way. Let's us go give him a decent burial. And wish him peace at last.
Strange tale. A tortured man who borrowed a century-old sorrow and carried it on his back like the old man of the sea. Small wonder he broke eventually under the senseless strain and ran amok. A man to be censured, but also to be pitied. A man for whom the death bell sounded. Let his epitaph be John Donne's, lest you stop to criticize too harshly. Ask not for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. I'll be back shortly.
Oh, sure. You can talk about good-tasting diet drinks, but I know. I'm Goldilocks, and here at my taste-testing laboratory, I taste-test them all. And nobody's been drinking my diet drinks until I tested sugar-free Diet 7-Up. And then, kabloomy! Every bear wanted some. Diet 7-Up is fresh, natural, delicious. Sugar-free Diet 7-Up. This one's just right.
North Jersey is certainly getting a higher yield this spring, especially with Suburban Savings Special High Yield Savings Certificate that you can raise for fun and profit. All you have to do is plant a modest $2,500 minimum in Suburban Limited Issue 7.50% Savings Certificate. Then put your certificate in a nice, safe place. Suburban takes care of the rest by compounding interest continuously from day of deposit paid quarterly. You'll get a nice, healthy 7.90% effective annual yield on your 7.50 savings certificate when you let it grow from 4 to 10 years. Early withdrawal prior to maturity is, of course, subject to a substantial penalty. So for a nice, healthy 7.90% annual effective yield, grow Suburban's 7.50% savings certificate for fun and profit at any Suburban savings office in Bayonne, Edgewater, Elmwood Park, Emerson, Hackettstown, Morris Plains, Nutley, Paramus, and Sparta.
Our cast included Michael Tolan, Marion Seldes, William Redfield, and Guy Sorrell. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by new sugar-free Diet 7-Up. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Mystery Theater program was furnished by the CBS Radio Network.
This is Mary Helen McPhillips. Growing old may not be fun, but the only choice is to die. So hopefully most of us will grow old. And how to do it well is what we'll be talking about at 10:15 tomorrow morning on the Martha Dean program. Morton Puner, a member of the Gerontological Society, will tell us what we know about growing old. I hope you'll join me tomorrow morning at 10:15.
I'm Fulton Lewis in the Mutual Broadcasting System studios in Washington, D.C. Now, my commentary.
President Nixon's Watergate lawyer said today that he's going to move to quash a Watergate prosecution subpoena for 64 more White House tapes. He would not say whether the president will abide by any adverse Supreme Court decision should that tape battle come to that. Facing a deadline of Thursday for responding to the subpoena from Special Prosecutor Leon Jaworski, the president's defense attorney, James St. Clair, held a broad-ranging news conference here in Washington today, a news conference in which he discussed the president's reasons for making public more than 1,200 pages of edited transcripts of the Watergate tapes. He also disclosed that the House Judiciary Committee is seeking more than 140 additional tapes for its impeachment inquiry. Discussing Jaworski's subpoena, St. Clair argued today that the massive public release of transcripts by the president yesterday strengthens his effort to have the subpoena quashed. He said he will move now on two grounds. First, in his words, especially now, clearly the prosecution must have enough evidence to proceed to try these cases. And knowing Mr. Jaworski, I am confident that he wouldn't have indicted these people if he didn't think he had enough evidence to convict them. Secondly, acknowledging that the White House has a duty to make available materials that would be helpful to the defendants, St. Clair today said everything we know of is in that book of transcripts. Everything is there. He also contended that there was a significant difference between the Jaworski subpoena and the one issued last year in the name of former Special Prosecutor Archibald Cox. He said the Cox subpoena, which led directly to the explosive firing of Cox, was on behalf of a federal grand jury, and that two court decisions that went against the president in that case were based on the proposition that the grand jury has sort of unique requirements. The Jaworski subpoena, on the other hand, St. Clair noted today, is aimed at providing materials for use in court trials rather than in grand jury deliberations. Asked whether the president would abide by an adverse Supreme Court decision should the Jaworski subpoena lead to a court fight and eventually reach the Supreme Court, St. Clair today said, quote, I wouldn't want to comment one way or the other because I have not discussed it with the president, and I would not want to presume on his decision. In any case, he said, I don't believe that we will come to that. St. Clair also was asked to outline the strategic or tactical advantages that the president hoped to reap by making public the massive array of edited transcripts. He cited the following as the basic consideration, and I quote, people were getting more and more imbued with the idea that the president had something to hide to the extent that it endangered the presidency. The facts ought to be known, and then let's argue about them. The president's Watergate attorney, James St. Clair, today volunteered that the staff of the Judiciary Committee is seeking tapes of 141, 142 maybe, those additional presidential conversations. He said he hoped the committee would take a second look at that request in light of Tuesday's disclosures and decide not to press it. Since most of these tapes are understood to deal with the controversies involving milk producers and the ITT, St. Clair was asked if he meant to suggest that the committees should forget those two issues. He said, based on what I know about it, the answer is yes. St. Clair made it apparent, however, that he is not opposed to providing additional materials relating to political contributions by the milk producers and the administration's controversial decision to raise milk price supports. He was asked if he felt that yesterday's disclosures might prejudice the cases of Watergate defendants that are still facing trial. St. Clair said, I do not think so. But as far as the conduct of the case is concerned, that is the first responsibility of the special prosecutor. Reminded that at one point in the bulky volume of transcripts, the president suggested to John Dean, who was then his private counsel, that witnesses in the Watergate proceedings might have conveniently faulty memories while under oath, St. Clair today said, as the president said, there are unfortunate remarks in there. Urging that the transcripts be looked at as a whole, he said the danger of this is to pick out a phrase here or a sentence there. The president's attorney also was asked if he thought it had been appropriate for the president to discuss at length payment of hush money to some Watergate defendants, as one transcript shows. St. Clair today responded, I'm sure if he had to do it all over again, he wouldn't have done that. The president is looking to the American people for vindication in the Watergate issue, while House impeachment investigators meet tonight to decide their next move in the quest for White House evidence. A majority of the House Judiciary Committee evidently was dissatisfied with the edited White House transcripts that the president delivered yesterday in lieu of tapes of those 42 presidential conversations that the committee had originally subpoenaed. The panel's Democratic majority planned to stop short of any formal demand for enforcement of the subpoena in favor of seeking bipartisan support for a simple statement declaring that the president had failed to comply with the subpoena. It was clear from the time that the president disclosed his transcript plan on Monday night that the support he sought was far beyond Capitol Hill, that his eventual goal was to try to persuade the American people that he did have no advance knowledge of the Watergate break-in, that he had no knowledge of the cover-up of the Watergate issue, and that he was providing investigators with a full story of his role. For all of the 1,308 pages of presidential transcripts, there are nonetheless many uncertainties about just what the president did or did not know and when he knew it, and what he intended to be done. It was, as the president's lawyers and the president himself had said, a document that is marked by ambiguities. One White House covering statement that was delivered with the transcripts declared, in all of the thousands of words spoken, even though they often are unclear and ambiguous, not once does it appear that the President of the United States was engaged in a criminal plot to obstruct justice. Those words also created a picture of a president feeling increasingly embattled and frustrated by a scandal, the disclosure of which he considered inevitable, but which he hoped to control, possibly even avoid. And they showed the president considering many alternatives, many different options, including at one point the payment of some hush money to the original Watergate conspirators. The transcripts covered conversations between September 15th of 1972 and April 27th of 1973. There were a few critical meetings, though. There was one on September 15th of 1972. That was the day that the indictments were returned in the Watergate break-in case. On that day, the president met with White House counsel John Dean, who was later to become the president's chief accuser before the Senate Watergate Committee. There was another meeting on March 17th, 1973. That's the day that the president learned that members of the White House Plumbers Unit, set up to trace leaks of classified information, had engineered the break-in at the office of Daniel Ellsberg, psychiatrist. There was a meeting just 4 days later, March 21st of 1973. That was the day the president said that John Dean first told him about the Watergate cover-up. Numerous alternatives, including meeting demands for hush money, were considered by the president, by John Dean, and by White House aides H.R. Haldeman and John Ehrlichman. Less than a month later, April 14th, 1973, there was a meeting. That was the day of a rambling discussion of Watergate by the president, Haldeman, and Ehrlichman, during which they talked about the need to fire John Dean and the equally important need to convince former Attorney General John Mitchell to appear before the prosecutor and a grand jury. There were also a series of meetings in mid to late April 1973, during which the president learned more and more of the extent of the cover-up and the various progresses that were being made in the Watergate investigation. Those sessions climaxed with decisions to finally accept the resignations of Attorney General Richard Kleindienst, Haldeman, and Ehrlichman, and, of course, also the decision to fire John Dean. After voting to revise oil taxes, the House Ways and Means Committee is turning to general tax reform, but a personal income tax cut does not seem to be on the panel's present agenda for possible action. The committee was at work again today on a sweeping series of items, ranging from cutting Social Security taxes to reviewing tax shelters and tax treatment of capital gains, and from tax provisions for single people and married couples to tax simplification involving itemized deductions. Tax staff experts told newsmen following a closed-door committee meeting yesterday that the panel plans to consider this material in the next 60 days and may have to omit some of these items from the list, but hopes to cover as many of these as possible. Missing from the listing of more than 25 topics, though, was a general personal income tax cut along the lines of a $5.9 billion measure that has been suggested by some members of the Senate. In the Senate, that body voted today to let states decide whether a motorist could buy group health insurance to cover accidental injuries. The action came as the Senate neared a final vote on no-fault automobile insurance, which would compensate accident victims without regard to who caused the accident. San Francisco Mayor Joseph Alioto announced today that police in his city have arrested 7 black men in the so-called Zebra Street killings carried out by a black group, which in Alioto's words was dedicated to the murder and mutilation of whites and dissident blacks. He told a news conference the police have pierced the veil of a vicious ring of murderers called the Death Angels. The Death Angels is kind of a reverse Ku Klux Klan. 12 whites have been killed, 6 others wounded in San Francisco in very random, very unprovoked attacks over the past 6 months. From the Mutual Broadcasting System studios in Washington, I'm Fulton Lewis, and that's the top of the news as it looks from here.